Chapter 44-63. The woman in black seemed to be the leader of the five, and her words carried the most weight. As soon as she spoke, the other two men behind her looked at Kang Shinmu with disdain, as if they didn't want to talk to him at all. As for Luo Han and Su Qin, they looked at Kang Shinmu apologetically, not daring to say anything more. It could be seen that in this void-crack battlefield, Luo Han and Su Qin were only following the black-clothed woman. Since the black-clothed woman had said so, although they felt sorry for Jiang Shenwu, it was not convenient for them to say anything more. "You're Qin Xiaoya, right?" Kang Shinmu looked at the woman in black. He remembered some of her battles. After all, Kang Shinmu had participated in the academy tournament at Dongwang Yangwu College, so he had some impressions of some of the strong people from Dongwang Yangwu College. Qin Xiaoya hadn't transformed into a dragon yet, so he couldn't tell how strong she was. But since it was a battle between Luo Han and Su Qin, she should be pretty strong. She should be a student from the Jade District. She hasn't reached the Sky Core District yet. Kang Shinmu thought to himself. Students from the Sky Core District usually didn't bring students from the Jade District with them when they went out to hunt, because they were basically a burden. The difference in strength was too great, and the others couldn't help much in a fight. So Qin Xiaoya should be a student from the Jade District, but she should be one of the stronger ones in the Jade District. Come to think of it, she should be about as strong as the monster emperor fish that Kang Shinmu had killed in the Beast Abyss. "I'm Qin Xiaoya. I didn't expect you to recognize me." Qin Xiaoya glanced at Kang Shinmu, her expression still indifferent. "But why do I feel like it's a shame to be recognized by you?" "Hey, don't go too far." Liang Shao was immediately displeased when he heard this. He stood up and said, "Jiang Shenwu was forced to leave by your academy's dean. Do you really think he wanted to defect? Do you have the right to speak here?" Qin Xiaoya glanced at Liang Shao, her expression turning cold. "Let me give you a word of advice. Don't be too arrogant in this void rift battlefield. There are many people who want to cause trouble for you. I don't have the time to play with you. I hope I'll see you again next time. Don't die here." As soon as she finished speaking, she wanted to leave with her people. But at this moment, "Be careful," Kang Shinmu bellowed. He was originally in the form of a divine dragon, but at this moment, he charged towards the void on the side. His shout alerted many people around him. Although Qin Xiaoya looked down on Kang Shinmu, she hadn't completely let down her guard in the void rift battlefield. At this time, the five of them immediately transformed into dragon warriors and flew to the side. They wanted to dodge first and observe the situation before making a plan. This was the best way to handle a situation in a dangerous area. Immediately after, the black dragon that Kang Shinmu had transformed into charged towards the void, and in that area, a terrifying demonic aura erupted. It's two demon generals. They're both middle-level demon generals. In the previous demonic trial, only students from the Heaven's Core and Heaven's Jade districts were qualified to challenge middle-level demon generals. Moreover, students from the Heaven's Jade district might not necessarily be able to defeat them. But now, after the experience points reward from the demonic trial, and after half a year of accumulation, the Dragon Martial Academy students had basically improved a lot. Qin Xiaoya was originally a second-level divine dragon blood essence of the Dragon Emperor, and a third-level reincarnation tribulation cultivator. And now, she was a third-level divine dragon blood essence of the Dragon Emperor, and a fourth-level reincarnation tribulation cultivator. Luo Han and Su Qin had just reached the first-level reincarnation tribulation cultivator, and they had just broken through to the Dragon Emperor level. There was still a huge gap between them and Qin Xiaoya, so they didn't dare to go against her at all. The appearance of middle-level demon generals made Qin Xiaoya and the others extremely nervous. Two fifth-level reincarnation tribulation mid-level demon generals. If there was only one, Qin Xiaoya's team could completely deal with it. With Qin Xiaoya as the leader, their team's combat strength was still acceptable. But now, there were two. In the battlefield, the appearance of two middle-level demon generals forced Kang Shinmu to stop his charging momentum. He stopped moving and quickly retreated. If there was only one middle-level demon general, Kang Shinmu could also try to deal with it. Their team would have no problem dealing with one middle-level demon general. But now that there were two, Kang Shinmu had to be on guard against being killed by the other party. After all, this was the Void Rift battlefield. It was said that those void demonic creatures would kill dragon martial artists with all their strength when they saw them. There would be no probing attacks at all. If they attacked with all their strength, the two middle-level demon generals might very well kill Kang Shinmu. Therefore, Kang Shinmu quickly retreated. The two middle-level demon generals were each 10,000 feet long. They broke through their concealment in the void. In fact, they were hiding at the side and slowly approaching. They had not yet prepared to launch a sneak attack. Unfortunately, they were discovered by Kang Shinmu in advance, so they could only show themselves. It's all your fault. You swaggered into your divine dragon form and provoked two big guys. Qin Xiaoya's expression darkened as she grumbled to Kang Shinmu and the others. They are hiding and following behind you. Kang Shinmu snorted coldly. Their target is you. It has nothing to do with us. Kang Shinmu could confirm this. After all, he had the Nightmare Ink Beast's help, and his perception exceeded everyone else's. Bullshit. Someone in the opponent's camp spat. Sister Qin, let's leave quickly. We are no match for two middle-level demon generals. Qin Xiaoya also planned to do so. Although she could hold back one of them, there were two in the field. She did not think that Kang Shinmu and the others could hold back one. Even if Kang Shinmu said he could, she would not believe it. In her opinion, those who were not on their side were unreliable at critical moments. If Kang Shinmu directly ran away, what would they do? They could only face two middle-level demon generals at the same time. That would be a dead end, therefore, Qin Xiaoya planned to lead the team to retreat first. But at this moment, the two middle-level demon generals suddenly erupted with terrifying demonic qi. Waves of demonic qi formed ripples that swept out in all directions. It actually enveloped the entire space in the field, turning it into a space sealed by demonic qi. Not good, it's the demonic sealing mist. Luo Han's expression instantly changed. They used the demonic sealing mist. We're trapped. The demonic sealing mist was a demonic mist that sealed off space. It seemed to be something like a magic treasure that the void demons could use. While the monsters were training, everything on the bodies of the void monsters would naturally be taken away. But when it came to a real fight, these void demons would also use some items, such as formations, demonic weapons, and so on. Chapter 44-64. When the fog of sealing appeared, the faces of Qin Xiaoya and the other four turned pale. They did not expect to encounter such a situation. They had been hunting in this void crack battlefield for a long time and had plenty of experience in dealing with void beasts. However, this was the first time they encountered such a situation. The void beasts they usually encountered were basically the patrols of the void beasts. No matter how strong these patrols were, they could not be at the level of a demon general. They were basically at the level of a demon spirit. Although many of them were superior demon spirits, they could still be defeated by their team. They could even kill the other party before they sent out a message to avoid future trouble. However, Qin Xiaoya had not faced two middle-level demon generals head-on. Moreover, the other party had actually used the fog of sealing. This was completely out of her expectations. In other words, even if she wanted to run now, it was too late. Although the fog of sealing could be broken, it required time. Now that the two middle-level demon generals had directly sealed them up, it was clear that they would not give them time to break the fog of sealing. Su Qin, break the fog of sealing. The rest of you, fight the enemy with me. Qin Xiaoya had no other choice. Under such circumstances, she could only let Su Qin, who was proficient in formations, try to break the fog of sealing. The rest of them would fight the 2 middle-level demon generals with her. Kang Shinmu, help us fight the enemy. Lend me your dragon weapon. Qin Xiaoye snorted coldly and said to Kang Shinmu, these 2 middle-level demon generals came for you. Now that we are trapped together, lend me your great desolate devil sword, I can save your lives. In her opinion, Kang Shinmu's team of 5 could not deal with a middle-level demon general at all. That middle-level demon general was at the 5th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm, which was equivalent to the Dragon Emperor. Kang Shinmu's team of 5 basically only had the Dragon King. How could they deal with it? Therefore, it was better to get Kang Shinmu's great desolate devil sword first. That way, she might be able to resist the 2 middle-level demon generals alone. Unfortunately, how could Kang Shinmu hand over the great wilderness devil rinsing sword to her? When Kang Shinmu heard Qin Xiaoye's words, he said indifferently, the 2 middle-rank demon generals are obviously coming for you. From the looks of it, they've definitely been preparing for a long time. They've even used the fog of demons sealing. It's impossible for them to be targeting us, who have just arrived at the battlefield of the Void Crack. But since that's the case, let's each deal with a mid-level demon general and not interfere with each other. Just as the two sides were halfway through the exchange, the 2 middle-level demon generals had already roared out, releasing demonic energy from their bodies, exploding out a terrifying demonic energy vortex, speeding towards the 10 dragon martial artists. The demonic energy vortexes that appeared along the way were incomparably terrifying, as if they were twisting the surrounding space into pieces. The other party didn't give Kang Shinmu and the others any time to talk. Kang Shinmu was halfway through his words when the black dragon's body already flew out with a loud bang, charging towards one of the middle-level demon generals, directly blocking between it and the other middle-level demon general. The other party's galloping momentum brought along surging demonic energy, directly crashing heavily onto Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body. Countless demonic energy surged, enveloping Kang Shinmu's entire person. Endless corrosive power swept towards his entire body. Seeing this situation, Qin Xiaoye and the others' expressions changed slightly. Qin Xiaoye didn't expect that Kang Shinmu would actually go over alone to stop one of the middle-level demon generals. To a 7th-level Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon King, Kang Shinmu was seriously too courageous. And most importantly, Qin Xiaoye and the others very quickly discovered that Kang Shinmu actually really withstood the middle-level demon general's demonic energy impact. Under the endless demonic energy's corrosive onslaught, although Kang Shinmu's black dragon body suffered intense corrosion, it still possessed tyrannical vitality after all. Divine Dragon Tyrant Body Art, Guardian Stance. When Kang Shinmu collided, he displayed the Guardian Stance, letting the defense of his divine dragon body reach the peak, directly blocking the middle-level demon general's impact, causing his figure to stop. Seeing this situation, the other middle-level demon general was a little surprised. Very clearly, the 2 middle-level demon generals also didn't expect that a mere 7th-level Nirvana Tribulation Realm puny Dragon King actually dared to fly over to stop them, and most importantly, he even blocked it. Originally, they didn't take Kang Shinmu and the others seriously at all. After all, the gap between them and them was really too great. They had chased Qin Xiaoye and the others all the way here, and originally didn't intend to make a move. Instead, they planned to fight for more demonic creatures to gather before making a move together. But they were discovered by Kang Shinmu. And at this moment, the scene of Kang Shinmu blocking the middle-level demon general made them realize that Kang Shinmu, this puny Dragon King, seemed to be a big threat. Of course, they knew that the fastest way to kill their opponent was to join forces with the 2 of them. Therefore, when the middle-level demon general in front felt that Kang Shinmu had appeared behind him and blocked his companion, he immediately turned around, and his 1,000-foot-long body rolled over, planning to join forces to kill Kang Shinmu. Unfortunately, Qin Xiaoye also knew that her chances of survival were not high. Now, she couldn't care less about fighting with Kang Shinmu. She attacked immediately, turning into a black hurricane divine dragon, raised her head, and let out a dragon roar. This dragon roar contained the astonishing power of reincarnation, gathering a terrifying whirlwind that landed on the middle-level demon general in front. Qin Xiaoye was a dragon emperor at the 4th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm, and the dragon emperor's blood essence had also reached the 3rd level. With this strength, even in a one-on-one fight, she could easily contend against this middle-level demon general, and even kill it. Moreover, at the same time Qin Xiaoye attacked, Luo Han and the other 2 dragon warrior students behind her also attacked. Although the combined might of the 3 of them was inferior to a single Qin Xiaoye, their combined might was enough to threaten the middle-rank devil general. After all, they were all elite students of the Dragon Martial Academy, and they were powerful to begin with. Otherwise, the 2 middle-level demon generals wouldn't have been hiding and waiting for more reinforcements before making a move. Now that they had no other choice, they seemed to only want to kill Kang Xinmu. They had no confidence in killing Qin Xiaoye, and were only stalling for time, at this moment. Qin Xiaoye's team stopped a middle-level demon general, and Kang Xinmu also stopped a middle-level demon general, separating them. The 2 dragon martial artist teams each dealt with a middle-level demon general, and immediately felt the pressure in their hearts decrease greatly. Kill! Qin Xiaoye did not hesitate, and the power of the pitch-black hurricane erupted from her body, sweeping the entire area, and blasting towards the middle-level demon general. Chapter 4465. Kang Xinmu could even withstand the attack of the 6th-level reincarnation tribulation state, not to mention the middle-rank demon general in front of him, who was weaker than the fish. At this moment, Kang Xinmu displayed the Dragon God Tyrant Body Technique's Guardian Stance, coupled with the recovery effect of the Dark Dragon Filth Mastery, allowing him to maintain his peak condition. Attack, kill! Kang Xinmu's deep voice sounded, causing Xiao Yuhua and the others, who could not hold back, to attack immediately. Xiao Yuhua and the others were waiting for Kang Xinmu's orders. After all, they definitely had to obey their leader's commands at this time. Seeing that Kang Xinmu blocked the middle-rank demon general, the 4 of them knew that it was time for them to attack crazily. Phoenix Dance burns the 9 heavens. Ice-splitting sky-breaking slash. 9 heavens Emperor Dragon Blood Explosion. Void Dragon raises the sky. The attacks of the 4 landed on the middle-rank demon general in the next moment. Unfortunately, they didn't cause too much damage to the middle-rank demon general. After all, the middle-rank demon general's physical body was strong. Even if he didn't use any defensive demonic skills, he could easily withstand the attacks of opponents of the same level. But sensing the 4's attacks, the middle-rank demon general was still a little annoyed, mainly because it felt that its attacks on Kang Xinmu had no effect at all. Endless demonic aura surged. The terrifying power swept towards Kang Xinmu like a whirlwind. Guardian Stance, block it for me. Kang Xinmu did not retreat, and directly blocked the other party's ferocious attack with his divine dragon body. This move, with endless surging demonic aura, was an extremely brilliant demonic skill. Once this demonic skill was used, even Qin Xiaoye could only temporarily avoid it. Facing it head-on would only lead to death. However, Kang Xinmu still did not dodge. He had just devoured a lot of demonic aura, increasing his resistance to demonic aura to a rather terrifying level. At this moment, coupled with the Divine Dragon Tyrant Body Technique's Guardian Stance, he planned to forcefully resist the other party's super-powerful demonic skill. Within the demonic chi storm, there were countless sharp wind blades that almost tore the space apart. With a loud rumble, they wrapped around Kang Xinmu's body. Even Qin Xiaoye's group was shocked by the commotion on the battlefield. Following that, something even more shocking happened. Under the violent attack of the demonic chi whirlwind, Kang Xinmu took it head-on and was not injured at all. Isn't his defense a little too terrifying? Qin Xiaoye's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't expected Kang Xinmu to be so powerful. With such a strong teammate, she was full of confidence in defeating the 2 middle-rank devil generals. Originally, she thought that Kang Xinmu's team would be completely annihilated. She didn't expect Kang Xinmu to be able to hold them off for so long. Continue. The laughing flower did not stop. Her entire fiery red divine dragon body seemed to burn the entire sky. Flames burned in the starry sky as the phoenix dance burning the 9 heavens martial technique pressed down. The lethality of her attacks became stronger and stronger. Hence, after 3 attacks, that middle-rank devil general could not even withstand her attacks. The black demonic chi all over its body was burned away. Moreover, it touched its tough demonic scales, almost destroying its demonic scales. There was also the ice-splitting sky-splitting slash from the young lady in the white dress. She did not stop at all. She kept slashing at the same spot on its body, fusing with the phoenix dance burning the 9 heavens and erupting with extremely terrifying power. That power was also a terrifying power that far exceeded the current level of Laughing Flower and the young lady in the white dress. This was the effect of the combination of ice and fire. Moreover, both sides had cultivated their dragon martial techniques to an extremely high level. That middle-rank devil general was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? This group of dragon martial artists was a little strange. Especially this black dragon in front of him. It had attacked several times, but it did not suffer any damage at all. Perhaps, he should change his strategy and kill the others first. This middle-rank devil general did as he thought. He was quite experienced in combat and wanted to directly attack Laughing Flower. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu had already devoured the other party's massive demonic chi power at this time. Just now, the other party attacked him 3 times. Half of the power of each attack was devoured by him and turned for his own use. At this moment, just as the middle-rank devil general was distracted and turned his head to attack Laughing Flower first, Kang Shinmu suddenly erupted. He turned all the demonic chi into the middle-rank devil general's final move just now. An endless demonic chi storm rose up and condensed into countless demonic chi blades. In one fell swoop, it shattered the void and enveloped the middle-rank devil general in an instant. This counterattack immediately shocked everyone present. Using demonic chi to attack the void demonic creatures. Kang Shinmu had displayed this method when he was training with the void demonic creatures and killed the 3-eyed demon spirit with it. But at that time, the 3-eyed demon spirit that Kang Shinmu killed was only a 6th-level demon spirit. In front of him was a 5th-level devil general. Kang Shinmu's strength actually improved so much in just half a year? How did he do it? Qin Xiaoya's gaze was drawn to this side. She almost didn't dare to believe what she was seeing was real. Originally, she thought that Kang Shinmu only needed to restrain the middle-rank devil general and wait for her to finish it off. But now it seemed Kang Shinmu actually finished off his opponent even faster than she did. In everyone's eyes, after the dignified middle-rank devil general was bombarded by its own power, there was no room for struggle at all. Its entire black body, which was thousands of feet long, was instantly cut into pieces. Even the hard demonic scales on its body couldn't withstand the power coming from its body at all. This middle-rank devil general was also the type with strong attack and slightly weak defense. And now, when it was distracted and wanted to kill Laughing Flower first, it didn't even put up any defense. In reality, it didn't expect Kang Shinmu, who had such strong defense, to be able to explode with a power that could kill it. This move was beyond everyone's expectations. It also made Qin Xiaoya and the others in the field inexplicably shocked. Too strong. Luo Han and Su Qin also saw this scene with their own eyes, and their hearts trembled. They had carried out missions with Kang Shinmu before, but at that time, Kang Shinmu wasn't as strong as them. And now, Kang Shinmu was actually so much stronger than them. It was simply unbelievable. One dead, there's still one left. The dragon scales all over Kang Shinmu's body were somewhat corroded by the demonic aura, but it didn't seem to be a big problem. Moreover, it was still recovering rapidly and would soon return to its peak state. And in front of him, the middle-rank devil general had already been cut into pieces and completely lost its life. Even the demonic core that this middle-rank devil general cultivated was directly taken away by Kang Shinmu. Demonic cores were the foundation of void demonic creatures cultivation. Just like the demonic cores of demonic beasts, it was the proof they obtained after hunting void demonic creatures. Chapter 4466. Of course, it was impossible for Kang Shinmu to consider this problem now, because the crisis at hand had not been resolved. Although he had already killed a middle-rank devil general, there was still another in the field, and the key was that the demonic sealing mist had not been removed. Even if he killed both middle-rank devil generals, Kang Shinmu would not feel completely at ease. You guys don't need to interfere with the remaining middle-rank devil general. At this time, Qin Xiaoya's face darkened when she saw Kang Shinmu and the others' eager expressions. On one hand, it was for face, and on the other hand, it was for the spoils of war. Encountering two middle-rank devil generals at the same time was a crisis, but if it was only one, it was a great opportunity. Once they killed it, they could earn a lot of demon hunting points. Qin Xiaoya's team of 5 had been wandering around the Void Rift battlefield for more than 2 months, and had never had such an opportunity until now. Usually, they could only hunt some high-rank devil spirit level void monster patrollers, and high-rank devil spirits were much weaker after all, so the rewards given by the academy were much less. And now, this was the first time Qin Xiaoya and the others had encountered a middle-rank devil general, and they were fighting like cornered beasts, surrounding the devil general. With the existence of the demonic sealing mist, Kang Shinmu and the others could not escape, but at the same time, the middle-rank devil general could not escape either. Unless it removed the demonic sealing mist itself, it could only fight to the death with Kang Shinmu and the others in this area. When Kang Shinmu heard Qin Xiaoya's words, he stopped and did not plan to interfere. Let's try to remove the demonic sealing mist first and go help. Kang Shinmu glanced in Su Qin's direction. Of these two middle-rank devil generals, Kang Shinmu had already killed one and obtained its demonic core, so it did not matter if he gave the remaining one to Qin Xiaoya and the others. Most importantly, the situation was still rather critical. Kang Shinmu had no intention of fighting Qin Xiaoya internally. If Kang Shinmu's guess was right, many powerful void aberrations were probably hurrying here. Looking at the current situation, if Kang Shinmu and Qin Xiaoya's teams were to fight each other, then when the void monsters arrived, all 10 of them would probably die. Kang Shinmu wasn't worried. After all, they had the protective crystal. However, he didn't want to expose the fact that he had the protective crystal in front of outsiders. Therefore, this middle-rank devil general would be left to Qin Xiaoya and the others. Of course, Kang Shinmu knew that Qin Xiaoya didn't want to be outdone. Besides, she also wanted to obtain more spoils of war. However, this wasn't important to Kang Shinmu. The key was that the middle-rank demon general was on guard now. Even if Kang Shinmu wanted to hunt him down, the other party might not give him the chance. Rather than wasting time, it was better to break the fog of sealing as soon as possible to ensure his own safety. Kang Shinmu couldn't act blindly just because he had the protective crystal. He brought Xiao Yuhua and the others to Su Qin's vicinity. In his dragon form, he planned to help break the fog of sealing. The fog of sealing was a kind of formation model. If one wanted to break it with brute force, they would need at least 5 times the strength of the other party. Right now, Kang Shinmu and the others clearly didn't have this kind of strength. Therefore, they could only resort to trickery. They would have to rely on Su Qin. In terms of formations and wards, Su Qin was naturally talented. She could be considered a super genius. She had also practiced many formations and wards set up by dragon martial artists. Now, she was at her wit's end in the face of the fog of sealing. It wasn't that she didn't understand the structure of the fog of sealing, but that her strength was still too weak. There were some crucial parts of the fog that she couldn't break. This was quite a headache. However, she was rather surprised that Kang Shinmu had brought people over at this time. We're here to help. If there's anything you need, just tell us. We don't know much about the fog of sealing anyway. Seeing Su Qin's expression, Kang Shinmu knew that she must have encountered some difficulties and had come to help. Many thanks. Su Qin nodded, then said seriously and gravely, the the structure of this fog of sealing is rather complicated. There are a total of 4 formation cores, and it requires at least 4 people to break it at the same time. She glanced at Qin Xiaoya and shook her head. They're dealing with a middle-rank devil general, so naturally they can't help me. Luckily, there's Kang Xinmu. At this time, Su Qin felt that Kang Xinmu was really too good. Not only did this youth not fight with Qin Xiaoya for the spoils of war, he even came to help her. He was thinking from the perspective of everyone being able to escape. Immediately after, Su Qin explained a few things to Kang Xinmu, regarding the general structure of the fog of sealing, as well as the positions of the 4 formation cores. Xiao Yuhua, Xiao Bai, Ran, Liang Xiao, go to these 4 positions. Listen to my instructions and break the formation at the same time. Kang Xinmu immediately made the arrangements. As for himself, of course he had more important things to do. Once the fog of sealing was broken, he had to sense the surrounding environment and situation as quickly as possible. Once he discovered danger, he had to evacuate as soon as possible. If he didn't make preparations and there was danger waiting outside, the situation would be quite bad. Yes. Xiao Yuhua and the other 3 listened to Kang Xinmu's instructions. After all, they were now very obedient to him. Under Kang Xinmu's leadership, they had obtained quite a lot of experience points. In any case, they felt that following Kang Xinmu was definitely the right choice. Immediately after, Su Qin made the arrangements. She injected her own power into the fog of sealing and began to break some of the key points. When she had broken through all the key points, she immediately said, "Now's the time. Attack." Xiao Yuhua and the other 3 launched their attacks at the designated position almost at the same time. Instantly, their power sank into the circle of fog of sealing, as if they had destroyed some key force, and the entire fog of sealing was blown away. It's broken. Kang Xinmu finally heaved a sigh of relief. After breaking the fog of sealing, he was considered to have ensured a certain degree of safety. Otherwise, not only would they be trapped inside, they wouldn't even know what was happening outside. When the fog of sealing dispersed, the battle on Qin Xiaoya's side was also nearing its end. Their battle prowess was already very strong, and a mere middle-rank devil general couldn't do anything to them. What was worth noting was that even though it was fighting to the death, the middle-rank devil general didn't have any intention of breaking the fog of sealing and escaping. Instead, it desperately tried to buy time. The middle-rank devil general even wanted to attack Su Qin and disrupt her breaking the formation. Unfortunately, it was stopped by Qin Xiaoya and the others, and it didn't succeed. When the fog of sealing was broken, it just so happened that the middle-rank devil general was completely killed. Everyone present finally heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 4467. Qin Xiaoya extracted the demonic core from the middle-rank demon general's chest as fast as she could. This demonic core contained tyrannical demonic qi, giving off an awe-inspiring feeling as the demonic qi swirled around it. However, when she saw this demonic core, Qin Xiaoya's face lit up, evidently very happy. She raised her head, and it just so happened that Xiao Yuhua and the other 3 joined hands to break the devil sealing fog formation around them. After the demonic sealing fog dissipated, a void scene appeared in front of them, allowing them to heave a sigh of relief. Qin Xiaoya also heaved a sigh of relief. She was really afraid that there were even stronger void demonic creatures lying in ambush outside. She glanced at Kang Xinmu, feeling that Kang Xinmu was rather tactful. If Kang Xinmu had wanted to snatch this middle-rank demon general from her, she definitely would not have let it go so easily. She would probably have fought with Kang Xinmu on the spot, and the situation would have been troublesome. In comparison, it seemed that Qin Xiaoya did not care about the bigger picture. Of course, Qin Xiaoya felt that she had dealt with a middle-rank demon general, and there was nothing to nitpick about in the entire process. At most, she had made an error of judgment when she had asked Kang Xinmu to hand over the great desolate devil-rinsing sword to her. At that time, she did not think that Kang Xinmu could contend against a middle-rank demon general at all. Kang Xinmu, Qin Xiaoya glanced at Kang Xinmu, and was just about to speak, when Kang Shinmu's expression darkened. Be careful. Kang Shinmu did not hesitate at all, and the wind shadow flowing sunset flash erupted instantly. His figure flickered and appeared behind Qin Xiaoye. Qin Xiaoye was still in her black dragon form, but a majestic demonic aura suddenly appeared behind her. It seemed to have been hidden outside the demonic sealing fog, and only launched a thunderous attack now. Boundless demonic chi converged into a demonic chi saber light, and with an incomparably shocking aura, it slashed towards Qin Xiaoye. Qin Xiaoye reacted immediately, but unfortunately, it was already too late. She wanted to use her defensive dragon martial skill, but it was impossible for her to make it in time. The opponent's sneak attack was too fast, so fast that if not for Kang Shinmu's warning, she would not have been able to react in time. Luo Han, Su Qin, Xiao Yuhua, and the others were also powerless at this moment. They could only watch with wide eyes as the demonic saber light cleaved through the void and slashed towards Qin Xiaoye. That was a high-rank demon general. A high-rank devil general was not someone Qin Xiaoye could deal with. Even if the other party appeared openly, Qin Xiaoye would not be a match for him, let alone when the other party launched a sneak attack. Qin Xiaoye felt as if she had fallen into an icy cavern when she felt the violent, sharp demonic aura behind her. The demonic aura had already locked onto her, making it impossible for her to escape no matter what. However, at this moment, the silhouette of a black dragon flickered and appeared behind Qin Xiaoye, shielding her from the demonic saber light. Boom! A demonic vortex erupted in an instant, sending Qin Xiaoye's 1,000-foot-long divine dragon body flying. She was like a small boat that had been hit by the waves, unable to stabilize. She struggled to turn her head to look, only to see a black dragon that was twice the size of her divine dragon body, shielding her from the sharpest demonic saber light. That black dragon was none other than Kang Shinmu. Kang Shinmu was the Dragon King's inherited blood essence. After transforming into a dragon, his body was indeed a little small compared to the Dragon Emperor and Devil Generals. However, Kang Shinmu's defense was truly terrifying. At this moment, he had previously devoured the demonic power of a middle-rank Devil General, allowing his own resistance to the power of demonic chi to reach its peak. At this moment, he faced the high-rank Devil General's saber light head-on, and actually managed to block the other party's attack. Demonic chi flew everywhere, sweeping up a demonic chi storm, making it impossible for anyone to approach. Qin Xiaoye's Dragon Emperor body was sent flying by the demonic chi storm, similarly unable to approach the center of the demonic saber light explosion. She could only watch helplessly as Kang Shinmu withstood all the power of the saber light alone. Under the incessant eruption of demonic chi, almost everyone thought that Kang Shinmu would die. But in reality, what they saw was that when Kang Shinmu withstood the demonic saber light explosion, all the dragon blood in his body directly splattered out, and his entire divine dragon body was almost chopped into pieces. A gigantic high-rank Devil General emerged from the shadows. It was over 1,000 feet tall, looking down at Kang Shinmu from above. This high-rank Devil General only had 5 limbs, and it seemed that one of them had been broken off and had never been able to recover. From the ferocious mouth on its head, demonic chi constantly surged out, condensing into waves of terrifying demonic chi that lingered around, giving off an eerie and terrifying feeling. Behind this high-rank Devil General, 4 figures of high-rank Devil spirits appeared. They could be considered the high-rank Devil General's subordinates. On the Void Rift battlefield, the number of Devil Generals was relatively small. Basically, the Devil spirits were the most numerous, and the Dragon Warrior students also killed the most Devil spirits. As for high-rank Devil General, it was already considered a relatively powerful force among the Void demonic race. When a high-rank Devil General appeared, it could fight against some powerful Dragon Emperor powerhouses. For example, Dragon Emperor Yen was only slightly stronger than this high-rank Devil General. Therefore, it was already a very powerful existence on the Void Rift battlefield. When ordinary Dragon Warrior students encountered it, they could only run away. Only those Dragon Emperor powerhouses from the Dragon Emperor's kingdom could fight against such an existence. However, ordinary Dragon Emperor powerhouses did not dare to fight with a high-rank devil general here, because the other party might have reinforcements rushing over. Therefore, even if there were Dragon Emperor powerhouses present, they would only deal with a high-rank devil general when 3 or more people joined forces. Otherwise, they would just run away. It's a high-rank devil general. Go quickly. Seeing this, Qin Xiaoye subconsciously wanted to escape. She looked at the divine dragon body of Kang Xinmu, who had blocked a fatal attack for her, and an indescribable feeling spread in her heart. However, when she looked at the terrifying and ferocious figure of the high-rank devil general, she still decided to escape from this place. This was because she felt that if she did not leave, all of them would die. Sister Qin, wait for me. One of the dragon warriors who had been following Qin Xiaoye immediately followed without thinking, not even looking at Kang Xinmu. He wanted to live. When the high-rank devil general appeared, he was already scared to the point of peeing his pants. Coincidentally, Qin Xiaoye shouted, so he immediately followed. He turned and wanted to fly away. However, right after that, 4 more figures appeared in the void behind them. Those 4 figures were 4 superior demon spirits. One high-rank devil spirit was enough to fight Qin Xiaoye to a draw. Even Qin Xiaoye could not force her way through these 4 high-rank devil spirits. Impossible. How did they come so quickly? Qin Xiaoye's face turned pale. I told you, their target is you. Jiang Shenwu calmly spoke. He inclined his head and directly faced that high-rank devil general. There was no trace of fear on his face at all. High-rank devil general. A high-rank devil general at the 7th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm was only slightly stronger than that terrifying strange fish demon emperor. Well, it was still much stronger than that. However, the key was that Kang Xinmu's resistance to the power of devil qi was already extremely strong after fighting. The high-rank devil general's saber light just now also failed to kill Kang Xinmu. Chapter 44-68. It was different from Qin Xiaoye and the rest who panicked when they saw a high-rank demon general. Kang Xinmu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the high-rank demon general. This high-rank demon general was the weakest of them all. It was at the 7th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm, not the 8th or 9th level. As long as they joined forces, they still had a way to deal with a 7th level demon general. It was not hopeless. The crux of the matter was that Jiang Shenwu knew that since the appearance of this 7th tier upper demon general, it meant that this was the last void demon. The other party had been chasing Qin Xiaoye and the rest for a long time. It was enough to crush Qin Xiaoye with the power he had now. There was no need to send stronger void demons. In other words, as long as they killed this high-rank demon general, the pursuit would end. Moreover, a 7th level demon general's demonic core could be exchanged for a lot of demon hunting points. It could even be exchanged for a rising dragon marrow. One had to know that even to Dragon Emperor powerhouses, a rising dragon marrow was extremely precious. Their strength was comparable to this high-rank demon general, and some were even stronger. However, it was extremely difficult to kill such a high-rank demon general in the Void Rift battlefield. They not only had to consider the support of other void demons, but also their own distribution and cooperation. Many Dragon Emperor powerhouses did not completely trust each other. Everyone was afraid that someone they were not familiar with would backstab them. That would be tragic. And if they did not join forces, it was almost impossible for them to quickly kill such a high-rank demon general. Therefore, there were not many high-rank demon generals of this level that were killed, just like how there were not many Dragon Emperor powerhouses that died in the Void Rift battlefield. Powerful existences of this level all had extraordinary life-saving abilities. They were not that easy to kill. However, this did not exist for Kang Xinmu. After cultivating the Divine Dragon Tyrant Body technique and using the Guardian stance, the strongest power that Kang Xinmu could devour was about a 6th level demon general. Kang Xinmu could only devour a third of this high-rank demon general's power at a time, but even if he could only devour a third each time, he would still be able to directly unleash an attack equivalent to the opponent's attack after enduring 3 attacks. If he were to play it safe, Kang Shinmu would be able to withstand 4 to 5 attacks from his opponent before launching a counterattack. Most importantly, he might not be able to hold on for that long. After killing the terrifying Demon Emperor, Kang Shinmu didn't improve much. Even that terrifying Demon Emperor almost killed Kang Shinmu, let alone this 7th level high-ranking Devil General. If Kang Shinmu were to encounter him alone, he would probably run away immediately. But this time, there was someone behind him. Therefore, he wanted to give it a try. If they succeeded, all of them would reap a bountiful harvest. For the sake of successfully launching a sneak attack, this high-ranked Devil General didn't gather too much power in its first attack. Therefore, its next attack will definitely be stronger. Kang Shinmu didn't hesitate at all. He directly took out the monster cores of the monsters he had hunted in the boundary forest and swallowed 2 of them. He devoured the power within and quickly recovered from his injuries. However, the high-ranked Demon General didn't give him any chance to heal. A terrifying demonic skill erupted from the high-ranked Demon General. Endless demonic chi condensed into a whirlwind, and 9 terrifying saber lights appeared in the whirlwind. These 9 saber lights were cold and seemed to corrode the space as they slashed towards Kang Shinmu. This move was also not its strongest move. After all, in its opinion, Kang Shinmu was too weak. Although it didn't know how he had withstood its attack just now, he definitely wouldn't be able to withstand its second move. Now, all it wanted to do was quickly finish off Qin Xiaoya so that it could quickly leave this place. Although it wasn't weak, this place wasn't far from the void disk, so it was still a little afraid. If a few experts from the Dragon Martialist camp came and happened to encounter this scene, it would be miserable. It knew very well that it was in charge of hunting down Qin Xiaoya this time. It didn't have any backing. Therefore, it had to act quickly. After unleashing the 9 saber lights at Kang Shinmu, the high-ranked Demon General planned to attack Qin Xiaoya. At the same time, there were a total of 8 figures of the high-ranked demon spirits around them. They were all a lot smaller than the high-ranked Demon General. At this moment, they all surrounded them. They didn't attack, just to prevent Kang Shinmu and the others from escaping. Since they had appeared, they naturally wanted to annihilate this group of dragon martialists. What do we do? We can't escape. The dragon martialist student who wanted to escape with Qin Xiaoya saw that he was surrounded by the high-ranked demon spirits, and his divine dragon eyes immediately revealed a look of despair. If he were to dispel his divine dragon form, one could see that this person was so scared that his face was pale, and he was completely at a loss. Charge with me. Qin Xiaoya clenched her teeth. Sensing that the high-ranked Demon General was attacking her, she didn't hesitate and directly charged in the direction of one of the high-ranked demon spirits with a burst of speed. The divine dragon flew swiftly in the void. Seeing this, the high-ranked demon spirit immediately displayed an extremely powerful defensive demonic technique, forming a demonic chi barrier in front of it. At the same time, the other 2 high-ranked demon spirits nearby came over to support. And the most terrifying thing was that the high-ranked Demon General's attack would probably arrive soon. It had already passed Kang Shinmu and was planning to chase after Qin Xiaoya. Qin Xiaoya's attack landed on the high-ranked demon spirit's defense, causing a tremor to erupt. Unfortunately, it didn't shatter. Immediately afterward, she was surrounded by 3 high-ranked demon spirits. It's over. Qin Xiaoya's entire person was in despair. Feeling that the high-ranked Demon General behind her was getting closer and closer, she suddenly gritted her teeth. Since she was going to die anyway, she might as well die with a bang and seriously injure this high-ranked Demon General before she died. The pitch-black samsara power all over her body began to burn. She, who came from Donghuang Yangwu College, cultivated a mid-level origin source dragon martial technique called samsara ignition. This move could fuse all the samsara power in one's body together, condensing together into the most terrifying explosive power. After using samsara ignition, the dragon martialist's internal energy would be completely depleted, and it would take at least a few days to recover. However, this dragon martial technique was extremely powerful, and it was an explosive move at the last moment. Qin Xiaoye thought that even if she couldn't kill the high-ranked demon general, she would still severely injure this guy. In an instant, the black samsara power condensed into a violent whirlwind, finally merging into a small black ball. Chapter 44-69. Samsara Immolation. Luo Han and Su Qin's expressions changed drastically when they saw Qin Xiaoye's mid-level origin source dragon martial technique. This meant that Qin Xiaoye had completely given up hope and concentrated all her power into this move. Once this move failed to kill the high-rank demon general, she would become a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Most importantly, once Qin Xiaoye lost the ability to fight, who among the remaining people would be able to deal with the high-rank demon general? Moreover, there were 8 high-rank demon spirits. The combat power that the void demons had sent out this time almost made Qin Xiaoye and the others despair. As for Kang Xinmu, although he was very strong, they did not think that Kang Xinmu could contend with the high-rank demon general. This high-rank demon general was simply too strong. It was impossible to defeat him. Samsara Immolation. A black ball that contained all of Qin Xiaoye's power contained all of her samsara profound meaning. With a burst of black flames, it burned in the void and directly hit the high-rank demon general's body. A terrifying power erupted in an instant. Even though the high-rank demon general had used a defensive demonic technique and used a demonic chi barrier to block a portion of the eruption of the samsara power, Qin Xiaoye's body of samsara power was burning. It burned through the demonic chi barrier almost instantly. The endless power of samsara directly landed on the body of the high-rank demon general and instantly erupted. Luo Han, Su Qin, and the others watched this scene nervously. They all hoped that this attack could defeat the high-rank demon general, or at least severely injure him. It was also at this moment. Behind the high-rank demon general's huge body, Kang Xinmu faced the 9 demonic chi saber lights alone. These 9 demonic chi saber lights could be said to be more ferocious than the previous one. Even the first saber light was already comparable to the saber light that almost killed Kang Xinmu. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu was prepared. This move is too strong, I can't forcefully take it. Kang Xinmu's expression changed slightly. He directly used the wind's shadow flowing cloud flash, and his divine dragon body instantly shuttled thousands of feet away. The opponent's 9 demonic chi saber lights all slashed at empty space. The terrifying power almost shattered the space. The demonic chi released by the 9 demonic chi saber lights converged into a demonic chi storm that swept towards Kang Xinmu. Even though Kang Xinmu hid thousands of feet away, this distance was still unable to block the demonic chi storm's onslaught. In the next instant, he was swept into this terrifying demonic chi storm. His entire divine dragon body was corroded and rotted in the demonic chi. Even though he had swallowed 2 demonic cores in advance and was now using the dark dragon filth control technique to heal his injuries, it still didn't seem like it would be enough to save his life. His injuries were constantly healing, but they were also constantly being corroded by the demonic chi storm. At the most serious point, his entire divine dragon body was reduced to half a skeleton. When he struggled in this state in the demonic chi storm, Qin Xiaoye's samsara immolation happened. At this time, Qin Xiaoye's samsara power erupted, burning the high-rank demon general's body continuously. The explosive power finally broke through the high-rank demon general's demonic scales defense, causing demonic blood to flow out of its body. Clearly, it was injured. Luo Han, Su Qin, Xiao Yuhua and the others first glanced at the injuries of the high-rank devil general as their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. Clearly, although this high-rank devil general was injured, his injuries weren't too serious. Even the demonic scales on its surface were recovering rapidly. This high-rank demon general had the ability to recover rapidly. Then they looked at Kang Xinmu, and discovered that Kang Xinmu was like a withered divine dragon skeleton, swept up and corroded by the demonic chi storm. They didn't know if he was still alive, too strong. Xiao Yuhua and the others were all shocked. Even Kang Shinmu was heavily injured by the opponent's attack, and it was unknown whether he was still alive or not. Who else among them was a match for this high-rank demon general? Don't think so much, just attack. There's no other chance now. Liang Xiao gritted his teeth. If there's no other way, we can only use. He glanced in the direction where Kang Shinmu was, and his heart felt as if it was being stirred. After all, Kang Shinmu was fighting on the front lines, while they could only hide behind. This was truly a humiliation for the Dragon Warrior students. Thinking of this, Liang Xiao directly erupted with his fastest speed. Like a red stream of light, all the dragon blood in his body exploded crazily. Dragon blood meteor explosion. This was the high-grade source dragon martial technique that Liang Xiao had exchanged previously. This dragon blood meteor explosion was an extremely powerful attack, but it would cause a certain amount of damage to the user. After all, it was a high-grade source dragon martial technique, and its attack effect was still very strong. Moreover, the side effects were not as extreme as samsara immolation. It would only cause a certain amount of dragon blood to explode, and one would be weakened for a period of time. However, after using this move, one would still have the strength to fight again. The dragon blood meteor explosion erupted in an instant, and along with Liang Xiao's dragon blood, it instantly landed on the body of the high-rank demon general. Seeing this, Xiao Yuhua, the girl in the white dress, and Ran naturally did not want to be left behind, and they all erupted their attacks towards the high-rank demon general. The power that erupted from everyone's joint attack was still quite powerful. At least after Qin Xiaoye directly injured the high-rank demon general with samsara immolation, the high-rank demon general still wanted to quickly heal his injuries. In the end, he suffered such a fierce attack, and immediately let out a furious roar. Without a doubt, this high-rank demon general did not expect these ants to dare to attack him. And it just so happened that the dragon martial technique of these ants worsened his injuries, weakening his combat strength by quite a bit. After the high-rank demon general roared, demonic chi erupted from all over his body, and the surrounding void trembled. It was as if a pitch-black vortex had appeared in the starry sky, gathering endless demonic chi in the surroundings, and then shooting out countless small demonic chi saber lights. Each of these small demonic chi saber lights' attack was extremely terrifying, at least for Liang Xiao and the others. There was a fatal threat. In the face of this move, they could only retreat and huddle together, each displaying their strongest defensive dragon martial technique, layer by layer, to protect their entire body. If it really doesn't work, let's go to Kang Shinmu and activate the protective crystal. Xiao Yuhua said extremely calmly. Okay. The girl in the white dress nodded. Under the attack of countless small demonic chi saber lights, they could not do anything at all. They could only passively defend, and they were constantly being bombarded. If they retreated a little further, it would be the encirclement formed by the 8 high-rank demon spirits. Previously, the high-rank demon spirits formed an encirclement, intending to trap them, so they did not attack them, lest they revealed an opening and let them escape. But if they took the initiative to approach, the high-rank demon spirits would definitely not mind sending them on their way. They stopped their retreat in time, but in this way, the number of small demonic chi saber lights they had to endure increased. Even the 4 of them joining forces to defend seemed to be somewhat unable to hold on. Sister Qin. One of Qin Xiaoye's little followers immediately rushed in front of Qin Xiaoye. Qin Xiaoye had now lost all her strength, and her reincarnation power was exhausted. She did not have a trace of combat strength. Luo Han, Su Qin, and the other 2 rushed to Qin Xiaoye's side, protecting her in the middle. Unfortunately, each of them knew that their efforts were futile. As long as the high-rank demon general came to his senses, they would definitely die. And at this moment, the high-rank demon general's demonic chi saber lights were constantly exploding in the surroundings, leaving all of them to passively defend. It was also at this moment. Suddenly, an angry roar came from the surging demonic chi storm in the distance. Chapter 4470. Everyone did not expect that Kang Shinmu could actually still let out such a furious roar. Wasn't he already rolled into a skeleton under the demonic chi storm? When everyone followed this furious roar and looked towards the direction where Kang Shinmu was, they discovered that Kang Shinmu's pitch-black divine dragon body had actually already completely recovered. In this short period of time, Kang Shinmu directly devoured quite a few demonic beasts' demon cores. The value of these demonic beasts' demon cores was not low. It was just that they were obtained by Kang Shinmu from hunting demonic beasts outside the beast abyss, so he could not use them to exchange for experience points. Hence, these demon cores became an important means for Kang Shinmu to recover from his injuries. After devouring a total of 6 demonic beasts' demon cores, Kang Shinmu's injuries were completely healed. Furthermore, in the demonic chi storm, Kang Shinmu's resistance towards the power of demonic chi had already reached the peak. That was to say, if he were to withstand the full-powered attack of the high-rank devil general in front of him again now, he completely had the ability to withstand it. Of course, it was impossible to withstand it head-on. After all, the disparity between the two parties was really too great. But Kang Shinmu could dodge the vast majority of the other party's destructive power through the wind's shadow flowing sunset flash. In addition, he could also devour 1/3 of the other party's attack strength. In this way, he could still barely contend with the high-rank devil general. All of you, get out of the way. Kang Shinmu's black dragon body flew towards where the high-rank devil general was located. His eyes were bright and full of expression. He could already sense that the high-rank devil general had already suffered considerable injuries. Regardless of whether it was the attacks of Xiao Yuhua and the others, or Liang Zhao's dragon blood meteor explosion technique, or that Qin Xiaoya's samsara ignition, they all caused the high-rank devil general to suffer considerable injuries, causing the strength that he could unleash to not exceed 70% of his peak condition. This was excellent news to Kang Shinmu. When Kang Shinmu turned around, intending to clash head-on with that high-rank devil general, that high-rank devil general was also taken aback by Kang Shinmu's sudden appearance. It had never imagined that Kang Shinmu would appear before it again, and remain unscathed. Although the black dragon's body seemed to be heavily injured, Kang Shinmu's condition was clearly at its peak. This was because Kang Shinmu relied on the devouring power to recover. On the surface, he didn't even heal the minor injuries. He was mainly protecting the important parts of the divine dragon's body. Therefore, even though Kang Shinmu seemed to be seriously injured, he was actually unscathed. He could even exert more than 100% of his combat power. After all, Kang Shinmu already had top-notch resistance to devil chi. This was his greatest advantage. Otherwise, even the aftermath of a high-rank devil general's attack could kill Kang Shinmu. What do we do now? The 2 dragon warrior students stayed with Qin Xiaoya, almost trembling as they watched Kang Shinmu fly towards the high-rank devil general. They weren't cowards, but they were still very young. When faced with the true threat of death, it was very difficult for them to remain calm. On the other hand, although Qin Xiaoya had lost all her strength and no longer had any combat power, she was still rather calm. Let's wait for Kang Shinmu to make a move and see if he can kill this high-rank devil general. Qin Xiaoya's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. Although she was prejudiced against Kang Shinmu in the beginning, after this period of interaction, she felt that this youth Kang Shinmu seemed to be different from the rumors. He didn't seem like the kind of person who would go back on his word at all. Therefore, Qin Xiaoya was a little curious about Kang Shinmu. Of course, it was only a little bit. This also made Qin Xiaoya have some expectations for Kang Shinmu. She wanted to see if Kang Shinmu could really kill this high-rank devil general. After all, Kang Shinmu had already created miracles too many times. The first time Qin Xiaoya had a deep understanding of Kang Shinmu was during the demonic training. Although Kang Shinmu didn't know her very well, she remembered the youth who challenged his limits. Although she remembered the youth who betrayed Dongwang Yangwu College, now it seemed that this youth had nothing to do with the word betrayal at all. When Qin Xiaoya said this, the 2 dragon warrior students were a little depressed. They didn't expect that they would be in such a sorry state in this battle. In the end, they even had to rely on a young dragon king who was at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm to save them. Their current hopes were really all on Kang Shinmu. With 8 high-rank devil spirits blocking the way, it was impossible for them to escape this place with just their strength alone. And Qin Xiaoye had already lost all her fighting strength. If Kang Shinmu lost as well, then they would have no hope at all. The high-rank devil general in front of them would definitely not let any of them go. When the high-rank devil general saw Kang Shinmu coming over, he immediately roared. This roar was incomparably fierce, as if he had seen the enemy who killed his father. He directly exploded a terrifying attack towards Kang Shinmu. It wanted to take a closer look and see what was so special about this young dragon warrior. To be able to block 2 of his attacks in a row, this was definitely not simple. Perhaps this time, he had encountered a super genius from the dragon warrior faction. Countless devil chi gathered to form a whirlwind saber formation. Very quickly, it formed a storm and directly swept towards the place where Kang Shinmu was. The storm of this whirlwind saber formation directly enveloped a radius of 5,000 to 6,000 feet around Kang Shinmu. If Kang Shinmu wanted to escape, it would become an extravagant hope. The key was that his Sun Shadow Flowing Cloud Flash had not been cultivated to perfection. He could only shift a distance of 10,000 feet each time. Otherwise, as long as he cultivated the Sun Shadow Flowing Cloud Flash to another level, he would be able to avoid this attack. Unfortunately, there were no ifs now. Facing the other party's whirlwind saber formation storm, Kang Shinmu could only brace himself and block it head-on. Divine Dragon Tyrant Body Technique, Guardian Stance. Kang Shinmu roared, and his entire divine dragon body instantly transformed into a steel barrier. His entire body lay across this void, towering and unmoving. Under the Guardian Stance, Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body's defense reached its peak. At the same time, blood-red engulfing power spread out continuously, and made contact with the other party's whirlwind saber formation storm. In an instant, the terrifying power bombarded Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body. Kang Shinmu did not have any defensive dragon martial techniques. To him, defensive dragon martial techniques were useless. His divine dragon body was still the most powerful. The strongest attack came crashing down. This time, Kang Shinmu directly engulfed close to half of the other party's attack power. Because he felt that this high-ranked demon general's strength had been weakened by 30% after being injured. Then, if he engulfed the remaining 30%, it was equivalent to Kang Shinmu only withstanding less than half of its destructive power. And this also became Kang Shinmu's hope of blocking it. Chapter 4471. Such a process was undoubtedly excruciating. His physical body was destroyed, then reconstructed, then destroyed by demonic aura again, then reconstructed and restored. Such repeated pain made one feel despair just by looking at it. This was a little too savage. Qin Xiaoye and the others turned pale as they watched Jiang Shenwu endure the attack of the high-rank devil general. It was a scene that struck fear into the hearts of all who saw it. They had never imagined that Kang Shinmu would actually use such a method to fight. If he could not hold on for even a little longer, he would die right away without any chance of survival. Such a method of hand-to-hand combat would also make a dragon martial artist suffer unparalleled pain. No one dared to imagine what Kang Shinmu was feeling right now. Qin Xiaoye's feelings were even more complicated. The reason why this Jiang Shenwu is so powerful is not only because of his special innate talent. It's also because of his willpower. With such willpower, even if his talent is slightly ordinary, he will rise sooner or later. At most, he won't be as amazing as he is now. Unfortunately, there are no ifs. The willpower he is displaying right now is too shocking. Qin Xiaoye had a complicated look in her eyes. Having exhausted all the power in her body, her life was now completely in the hands of Kang Shinmu. Under such circumstances, some of the prejudice she had against Kang Shinmu seemed to have dissipated with the wind. After just a little contact, she realized that she had a better understanding of Kang Shinmu. No matter what, he should not be a treacherous person like the rumor said. He could even endure the pain of having his divine dragon body continuously destroyed and then reconstructed. Why would he go back on his word? Most likely, he was really forced to leave by Dean's Wu Xiaofeng. Of course, there was no point in dwelling on this now. The combat strength that Kang Xinmu had displayed now had definitely made Wu Xiaofeng regret it. Even Qin Xiaoye felt that it was a pity. How good would it be if Kang Xinmu was still a student of Donghuang Yangwu College? Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy would probably shine in the upcoming exchange between academies because of Kang Xinmu. Of course, the exchange between the academies might not be held as scheduled at the moment. The main reason was because of the appearance of the Void Crack. Right now, the main task of the 4 academies was to guard the Void Crack battlefield. As for the rest, they had to be postponed. After all, the exchange between the 4 Dragon Martial Academies was mainly between the top students. Right now, the top students of the 4 academies were basically fighting against the void demonic creatures in the Void Crack battlefield. If all of them left, the Void Disc might not be able to hold on. So for now, the exchange between the 4 academies might not be held as scheduled. However, it was precisely because of this that Kang Xinmu would have the opportunity to become one of the top students of the 4 academies when the time came for the exchange. Of course, the premise was that they could pass this trial. Qin Xiaoye and the others naturally didn't know that Kang Xinmu and the others were actually very confident. Even if they couldn't beat a high-rank devil general, it wouldn't be a problem for them to survive. Activating one protective crystal would be enough to protect all of them. Of course, if they wanted to protect Qin Xiaoye and the others, one protective crystal might not be enough. That was why Kang Xinmu wanted to fight to kill that high-rank devil general. As long as he killed the high-rank devil general, the remaining 8 high-rank devil spirits wouldn't be a problem. The high-rank devil general was injured, and its strength was weakened. After being weakened by Kang Xinmu's devouring technique, Kang Xinmu finally managed to withstand it. The demonic energy of the whirlwind saber formation almost killed Kang Xinmu several times over, but he forcefully withstood the whirlwind saber formation. It was simply hair-raising. The high-rank devil general didn't expect Kang Xinmu to have such a strong physical body and recovery ability. He immediately regarded Kang Xinmu as a genius dragon martial artist. The high-rank devil general had dealt with dragon martial artists many times and thought that he had a better understanding of them. But now, he realized that he didn't seem to understand dragon martial artists at all. Who was this guy in front of him? He was clearly only at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm, but Dragon King was actually able to withstand its attacks several times. This made the high-rank devil general extremely angry, but it couldn't do anything to Kang Xinmu. Its attack methods were all similar, and the main thing was that their power was also similar. If the whirlwind saber formation didn't kill Kang Xinmu just now, it was even more impossible for other demonic techniques to kill Kang Xinmu. However, this high-rank devil general was a powerhouse and had a certain status in the void demonic race. Naturally, he also had special methods. Demonic weapon. In the next moment, everyone exclaimed. The high-rank devil general had a pitch-black ball-shaped treasure on his body. Its entire body emitted pitch-black demonic energy, as if it had come from hell. The moment it appeared, the high-rank devil general's aura became even stronger. With the help of this demonic weapon, the high-rank devil general had the true strength of a high-rank devil general. Previously, it didn't intend to use any real abilities at all. After all, in its opinion, the few dragon martial artists in front of it were too weak. But now, it discovered that Kang Xinmu's talent was too high, and his combat strength was also extremely strong. He was a top-notch powerhouse among the dragon martial artists in the same realm. Therefore, it had to kill Kang Xinmu, even if it caused the other dragon martial artists to run away. Such a genius dragon martial artist must be eradicated. Otherwise, after a while, he would definitely become a huge threat to the void demonic race. Therefore, under the high-rank devil general's stern shout, the surrounding 8 high-rank devil spirits actually joined forces to attack Kang Xinmu. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu was now ready to counterattack. Just as the 8 high-rank devil spirits attacked and the high-rank devil general took out the pitch-black demonic weapon, Kang Shinmu moved. It was also demonic energy. Terrifying demonic energy instantly spread out from Kang Shinmu's body, immediately forming a whirlwind saber storm, instantly enveloping the high-rank devil general. The high-rank devil general was simply dumbfounded. Wasn't this a technique that belonged to it? It was actually used by Kang Shinmu, and used against it. Obviously, it was very familiar with the demonic skill it cultivated, and even knew the weakness of its demonic skill. Therefore, right now, it planned to directly resist Kang Shinmu's attack. Unfortunately, it didn't expect that Kang Shinmu's attack was a combination of 30% of all its previous attacks. All added together, it was at least 30% stronger than a full-strength attack. Chapter 4472. It's coming, it's coming. Luo Han and Su Qin were the most excited among the crowd. After all, they always knew that Kang Shinmu could create miracles. It was just that both sides were in different dragon martial academies, so they were in a somewhat antagonistic and competitive relationship. When they saw Kang Shinmu's counterattack at this moment, they were all a little excited. They watched as the 8 high-rank devil spirits charged towards Kang Shinmu in the center, but Kang Shinmu did not care about them at all. Violent demonic chi whirlwind saber array burst out from his body and launched a counterattack at the injured high-rank devil general. At this moment, the high-rank devil general did not expect such a situation to occur. Although it was lying in ambush outside the demon's sealing fog, it did not know what happened inside at all. It also did not know that the first mid-rank devil general was killed by Kang Shinmu in this way. At this moment, the whirlwind saber array descended. The demonic chi rampaged, causing the high-rank devil general to be extremely shocked. This power was even more powerful than the demonic skills it displayed. The pitch-black ball treasure that appeared outside its body did not have any effect before it was drowned by the boundless demonic chi. So powerful. Practically everyone in the surroundings was flabbergasted by the scene before them. Kang Shinmu's powerful strength was deeply engraved in the hearts of Qin Xiaoya and the others at this moment. When the whirlwind saber array descended, even the high-rank devil general could not resist its erosion at all. The incomparably violent destructive power contained unimaginable lethality, breaking the high-rank devil general's hasty defense. Then, it landed on its demonic body, and endless destructive power suddenly erupted, as if it wanted to destroy everything. The high-rank devil general burst out a terrifying roar, and its demonic body began to crack. The whirlwind saber array condensed from demonic chi instantly tore its demonic body into pieces. The power that came from its own body was condensed together to counterattack, and it could not be blocked at all. The key point was that it was not mentally prepared. Therefore, this high-rank devil general was almost unable to erupt its true strength, and its demonic body was suddenly shattered by Kang Shinmu's sudden counterattack. With its demonic body shattered, how could it survive? The aura of the superior devil general grew weaker and weaker. Before it died, it sent a command to the 8 superior immortal spirits that were rushing over. Escape, run back, and report the news of the dragon warrior, Kang Shinmu, to the void aberrations. The appearance of the dragon martialist was a huge threat to the entire race of void monsters. If the race did not know of the existence of such a dragon warrior, it was very likely that they would suffer a great loss in the future. Perhaps not just a great loss, but many of their fellow demons would die at the hands of Kang Shinmu. He had to send the news back. The 8 superior demon spirits were originally patrollers, so their movements were agile and swift. At this moment, they retreated and fled in 8 directions. They did not hesitate in the slightest. If they stayed, they would most likely die. After all, this place was closer to the dragon warrior camp. If they continued fighting, they would definitely die. Moreover, they did not necessarily need reinforcements. Together, they could not compare to a high-rank devil general. Therefore, even the high-rank devil general had been killed by Kang Shinmu. So what use were the 8 of them? Therefore, they chose to escape from this place and strive to send the news back. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu could not chase after them at this time. His injuries were very serious. The corrosive power of the opponent's demonic chi was far beyond what Kang Shinmu could withstand. If this high-rank devil general had not been lightly injured by Qin Xiaoya and the others, Kang Shinmu would have died by now. Even so, Kang Shinmu's current situation was not very good. Fortunately, the effect of his devouring power was extremely strong. With enough Yao cores on him, as long as he did not die, he could recover at the fastest speed. Seeing that the 8 superior demon spirits had escaped, he could not chase after them. He could only swallow another 2 Yao cores and devour all the power within to heal himself. He did not stop for even a moment with the dark dragon art of filth control. The demonic core of a high-rank devil general. The demonic weapon used by a high-rank devil general. Liang Shao was the fastest. He ran to the side of the high-rank devil general's corpse and took out the 2 most important items. There was no need to mention the demonic core. It was the main proof that they had killed this high-rank devil general, and it could also be exchanged for a lot of demon hunting points. As for the demonic weapon, it had a deeper meaning to the dragon martial artists. Generally speaking, among the void demonic race, only the devil generals had the right to use demonic weapons. Moreover, only high-rank devil generals had the right to obtain demonic weapons. Once they could seize a demonic weapon, it would be a great fortune. It was said that when these demonic weapons were forged, they used materials that did not exist in the dragon martial continent. Even supreme divine dragons would find it difficult to obtain such materials. This precious material was called demonic crystal. The demonic crystal was a material that was extremely compatible with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. It could greatly enhance a dragon martial artist's compatibility with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. If it was forged into a dragon weapon, not only could it increase one's battle strength, but it could also increase one's cultivation speed. Any dragon weapon with a demonic crystal in it was called a demonic dragon weapon. Currently, there were not many students in the 4 great dragon martial academies who had a demonic dragon weapon, because it was too rare. However, there were already some students who had obtained demonic crystals. After handing them over, they kept a portion of them for themselves, wanting to use them to forge their own dragon weapon. However, the forging of this demonic dragon weapon took a long time, and they also needed to pay a fee. Thus, until now, there had not been a single demonic dragon weapon forged. The demonic weapon that Kang Shinmu had obtained was a pitch-black spherical bead. It was only the size of a person's fist, but it was completely forged from demonic crystals. Compared to the demonic weapons that some people had obtained before, this demonic weapon contained even more demonic crystals. We can split the demonic core of a high-rank devil general together. Kang Shinmu kept the demonic core and demonic weapon that Liang Shao had handed over, then looked at Qin Xiaoya, who was not far away. Originally, we could have split it equally, but unfortunately. In the end, the 8 high-rank devil spirits ran away. I'm afraid that they will report my news, which will increase the danger level of me in the void battlefield in the future. So, I personally need 40% of this demonic core. Qin Xiaoya, your people and my people will each take the remaining 30%. If you think it's okay, we'll split it according to this. This method of distribution could be said to be quite reasonable. However, a student behind Qin Xiaoya seemed to be somewhat displeased. He stood up and wanted to say something, but was stopped by Qin Xiaoya. Qin Xiaoya did not have any power right now. With a somewhat complicated look in her eyes, she said to Kang Shinmu, I agree with your method of distribution. In reality, even if Kang Shinmu wanted to swallow the entire demonic core, she would not say anything. After all, she did not have any choice now. Furthermore, if not for Kang Shinmu, she would already be dead, and none of the people she had brought would be able to return alive. Just based on this point, she agreed with Kang Shinmu's method of distribution. As for that demonic weapon, although she coveted it, she also knew that it would definitely not belong to her. Although she had put in a lot of effort in the process of killing the high-rank devil general, cultivation resources were limited. It was impossible for Kang Shinmu to give it to her for no reason. No matter what, Kang Shinmu was the one who had truly defeated the high-rank devil general. Most importantly, everyone had seen the pain that Kang Shinmu had suffered in the battle. If Kang Shinmu wanted to distribute it this way, who would not agree? Chapter 4473. Everyone quickly left the battlefield. The high-rank demon general's corpse was torn to pieces. Kang Shinmu put the corpse into the dragon-marked blood pendant space and took it with him. As for the 8 high-rank demon spirits that escaped, they naturally did not care. There were also 2 middle-rank demon generals' corpses. One was taken by Kang Shinmu, and the other was taken by Qin Xiaoya. The corpses of demon generals that had reached the level of demon generals still had some use. If the essence of the demon general's corpse was added during the forging of dragon weapons, the dragon weapon could have some effect on restraining demonic qi. This effect was very effective against the void monster hordes. Although the demonic dragon weapons had not really appeared on the battlefield of the Dragon Martial Academy, such dragon weapons that could restrain demonic qi had already appeared. Demonic crystals were not common, but there were plenty of demon general corpses. However, what Kang Shinmu and the others did not know was that not far from the battlefield, a blurry figure appeared near their battlefield. Even Kang Shinmu, who had extremely strong perception, did not notice the blurry figure's existence. He could feel that the blurry figure exuded the power of a dragon warrior, and even supreme talent power. This was a supreme divine dragon watching the battle from the sidelines. Moreover, after Kang Shinmu and the others left, the blurry figure of the supreme divine dragon merely raised his hand and erupted with endless power of the void. This power of the void rapidly extended in all directions. In the next instant, the 8 high-rank demon spirits that had just escaped were all caught and brought back through the void. The blurry figure of the supreme divine dragon raised his right hand and clenched it, and endless terrifying power descended, crushing the 8 high-rank demon spirits into pieces. High-rank demon generals are indeed powerful. The blurry figure of the supreme divine dragon looked in the direction where Kang Shinmu had left and seemed to let out a faint laugh with a hint of satisfaction and appreciation. Naturally, Kang Shinmu did not know that the blurry figure of the supreme divine dragon had appeared and obliterated the 8 high-rank demon spirits. He had a feeling that news about him would spread to the void aberrations, and he would become a great enemy of them. If that was the case, he would have to be extremely careful in his subsequent actions in the Void Rift battlefield. Otherwise, he would be surrounded by void demons if he was not careful. Don't go to the battlefield for the next 10 days. Kang Shinmu shook his head. He had gained enough this time, so he could go into seclusion and cultivate for a period of time. Then, the next time the void monsters attacked the Void Rift, he would come back to hunt them. That would be the safest and most efficient way. Soon, they returned to the Dragon Martial Academy in the Void Disk. Qin Xiaoya walked with Kang Shinmu the entire time. Her attitude was no longer the same as when they first met. Instead, she was a little embarrassed to walk with Kang Shinmu. Along the way, she kept thanking Kang Shinmu. Kang Shinmu did not take it to heart. Anyway, it was fine as long as he had gained enough this time. He could occupy a large portion of the demonic cores of high-rank demon generals and middle-rank demon generals. It was enough for him to exchange for a rising dragon marrow. Once he obtained the rising dragon marrow, Kang Shinmu's strength would increase by another level. Let's go to the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy to exchange. Kang Shinmu glanced at Qin Xiaoya and suggested at the fork in the road. Qin Xiaoya thought for a while and nodded in agreement. On this side of the void disk, there were only the offices of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies. There was no joint exchange office. In the past, it was rare for students from different academies to join forces to fight and kill void demons. Now that Kang Shinmu and the rest had joined forces to kill a high-rank demon general, it was obvious that Kang Shinmu had contributed the most. If he wanted to exchange at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy, then they would exchange at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. In that case, the contribution of this high-rank demon general would be accounted for by Kang Shinmu and Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Qin Xiaoya and the rest would only get 30% of the demon hunting points. Of course, this was already not bad. By now, how could they not know that the group of void monsters was targeting them? Otherwise, Kang Shinmu and the rest would not have been targeted by the void demons when they first arrived at the battlefield of the Void Rift. However, it was different now. If Kang Shinmu entered the battlefield of the Void Rift again, he would very likely be targeted. After all, the news of this battle had already been leaked. In fact, Kang Shinmu had chosen to exchange demon hunting points at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy because he was afraid that if he went to Donghuang Yangwu College, he would be secretly detained by Zhou Xiaofeng or even killed in secret. That would be tragic for him. In Kang Shinmu's opinion, Zhou Xiaofeng might really do something like that. Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy's office. It had not been long since Kang Shinmu and the rest left for the void demon hunting battlefield. When he came for the first time, Dean Yaji personally received him. But this time, Yaji wasn't there. Only another instructor from the Dragon Martial Academy, Dragon Emperor, was in charge of the office. When she saw Kang Shinmu and the rest, the beautiful tutor Dragon Emperor immediately narrowed her eyes and smiled. She was the beautiful Dragon Emperor tutor who was guarding the entrance of the barrier when they were training with the void demons. Tutor Linghu. When Kang Shinmu saw her, he immediately cupped his fists and bowed. Linghu Dai, was the name of this beautiful Dragon Emperor tutor. Naturally, Kang Shinmu could just address her as Tutor Linghu. Linghu Dai's beautiful eyes narrowed into crescents as she looked at Kang Shinmu. Her delicate nose twitched as if she had sensed something. She asked in surprise, Kang Shinmu, you killed a high-rank demon general? As expected of Tutor Linghu. You can tell at a glance. Impressive. Kang Shinmu was a little surprised. He did not expect Linghu Dai, to be so sensitive to the aura of a high-rank demon general. You have the demonic core of a high-rank demon general on you. It's impossible not to tell. Linghu Dai, covered her mouth and chuckled. You're here to exchange demon hunting points, right? Oh, who are these people from Donghuang Yangwu College? As she spoke, she looked at Qin Xiaoya and the other four. Qin Xiaoya wanted to explain, but Kang Shinmu beat her to it and said, I met them on the way and fought the enemy together. If not for them, I might not have been able to kill the high-rank demon general. When Linghu Dai, saw this, she was a little surprised. Originally, she thought that the high-rank demon general might have been killed by Kang Shinmu with Qin Xiaoya's help. But now, it seemed that Qin Xiaoya had killed the high-rank demon general with Kang Shinmu's help. This was too shocking. And if this was not the truth, then Donghuang Yangwu College's elite Qin Xiaoya would definitely not be willing to follow Kang Shinmu to the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Chapter 4474. This was too shocking. Linghu Dai, would never have thought that with Kang Shinmu's cultivation and the grade of the divine dragon blood, he could actually kill a high-rank devil general. Although high-rank devil generals were nothing in her eyes, Linghu Dai herself was at the peak of the 9th level of the rebirth tribulations realm, and the grade of the divine dragon blood had reached the 8th level of the Dragon Emperor. With such strength, if she wanted to deal with a high-rank devil general, she could finish the other party off with a finger. But what was Kang Shinmu's cultivation level? The 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. The grade of the divine dragon blood of the 6th level of the Dragon King. This bit of strength. To be honest, if it were anyone else, they would not even be able to deal with a middle-rank devil general. Even a middle-rank devil spirit would find it difficult to deal with them. But Kang Shinmu had killed a high-rank devil general. This was at least 4 or 5 levels higher than a dragon martial artist of the same level. Kang Shinmu's level of challenging someone of a higher level was 7 or 8 levels higher, or even more. How are you going to split the demon hunting points for this high-rank devil general's demonic core? Linghu Dai's eyes shone with a strange light. When she looked at Kang Shinmu, there was a hint of provocation in her eyes. Kang Shinmu did not dare to look at her eyes. He only said, "Me 40%, my friends 30%, Qin Xiaoya and the others 30%. Okay." Ling Hu Dai nodded and glanced at Qin Xiaoya. It was obvious that she was unwilling. After all, she was naturally unhappy that she had to exchange the demon hunting points for the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. But this was a high-ranked devil general that Qin Xiaoya had helped Kang Shinmu kill. She had no reason not to give it to her. After all, it was just one demon hunting point. Soon, the demon hunting points for the high-ranked demonic core were exchanged. After Qin Xiaoya and the others obtained 30% of the demon hunting points, they bade farewell to Kang Shinmu and left. They were students of Donghuang Yangwu College, and it was not convenient for them to stay in Emperor Shi's office for too long. She wanted to interact more with Kang Shinmu, but she felt that Ling Hu Dai, the powerful dragon emperor, seemed to have some enmity towards her, so she could only take her leave. After Qin Xiaoya left, Kang Shinmu took out the corpses of high-ranked devil generals, middle-ranked devil generals, and the devil cores of middle-ranked devil generals, exchanging them for demon hunting points. The corpse of a high-ranked devil general was still quite valuable. The demon hunting points that could be exchanged for were equivalent to the devil core of a middle-ranked devil general. As for the pitch-black ball-shaped demonic weapon that Kang Shinmu had obtained, he took it out and exchanged it for demon hunting points. Right now, he did not need things like the demonic dragon weapon. Even if he wanted to use it for himself, he would have to wait for a long time before he could wait for a powerful weapon refiner to forge the demonic dragon weapon. If he exchanged it for demon hunting points, he could increase his own strength right now. Are you sure that you want to exchange this demonic weapon for demon hunting points, and not forge the demonic dragon weapon at half price? When Ling Hu Dai, heard Kang Shinmu's plan, she looked a little surprised. She advised him with a serious expression, the demonic dragon weapon can increase one's battle strength by quite a bit. For example, if your great desolate devil sword is merged with a demonic core to become a demonic dragon weapon, it can increase its power by at least 30%. But forging the demonic dragon weapon, doesn't it take at least half a year? Kang Shinmu smiled bitterly and said, I can't wait that long. I might as well exchange it for demon hunting points and increase my own strength first. This was only limited to Kang Shinmu. If it was someone else, they would definitely choose to merge their own dragon weapon to forge the demonic dragon weapon. This was because Kang Shinmu's utilization of demon hunting points was extremely high. His devouring power could be used 100% of the treasures he devoured or other cultivation resources he devoured. But others could not. Hence, to Kang Shinmu, there was no need for him to wait for the demonic dragon weapon. How about this? Teacher Ling Hu Dai, squinted her eyes and smiled, revealing a pair of cute little canine teeth. How about you give me this demonic weapon at half price? I have some demonic cores now, but I still need a little more before I can merge them with my holy dragon weapon. With this demonic weapon of yours, it'll be just right. I won't have to go out and run by myself. What do you think? These words made Kang Shinmu a little surprised. If he gave it to Ling Hu Dai, at half price, Kang Shinmu's gains would be halved. It would be the same as using it to forge the demonic dragon weapon, except that he would be forging it for Ling Hu Dai, As compensation, I'll give you this. Ling Hu Dai, threw out a ring from her bosom. The ring made 2 circles in the air and flew into Kang Shinmu's hand. This is? Kang Shinmu looked at the silver ring with a strange expression. This is a protective ring. It's a heaven-grade dragon weapon. Ling Hu Dai said, this protective ring can store the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. When you need it, it can activate a defensive method and build a defensive barrier. The strength of this defensive barrier is almost equivalent to a peak reincarnation tribulation realm expert on the 5th floor of the Dragon Emperor. It should be enough to protect your life in a battle. Moreover, this protective ring can be recharged. You don't need to care about it. Just leave it in the air and it will automatically absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth in 7 days and activate its defensive method again. These words made Kang Shinmu feel a little tempted. This is something I used before. I'll give it to you now. Take it as an exchange for the demonic weapon. What do you think? Ling Hu Dai asked. All right. A heaven-grade dragon weapon was still very useful to Kang Shinmu. After all, a divine dragon weapon was a little far from him. The demon hunting points he needed to exchange for it was not something he could obtain in a short period of time. Even if he killed a high-rank devil general and a middle-rank devil general this time, it was still a long way from exchanging for a divine dragon weapon. As for the rising dragon marrow, he calculated that he had just enough demon hunting points left. At the same time, Xiao Yinhua and the other 3 had also obtained quite a lot of demon hunting points. Compared to the effort they had put in the battle, they felt that the demon hunting points they had obtained were terrifying. These were all given to them by Kang Shinmu. In reality, if the points were distributed according to contribution, Kang Shinmu really did not need to give them so many points. However, this was also Kang Shinmu's kind intentions. If they became stronger, it would also give Kang Shinmu a greater sense of security in the battlefield of the Void Crack in the future. Lingyun Protective Ring. That's its name. Ling Hu Dai passed the protective ring to Kang Shinmu. Then, she said with a smile, remember to wear it on you. Don't hide it in your storage space. Otherwise, it will not be able to absorb spiritual chi of heaven and earth and will not be able to store spiritual chi. Kang Shinmu nodded. After a slight hesitation, he put the Lingyun protective ring on his right hand. At that moment, he felt as if there was a force enveloping his body, giving him a strong sense of security. It was able to withstand a full-powered attack from a peak reincarnation tribulation realm expert at the 5th layer of the Dragon Emperor. Chapter 4475. Soon, Kang Shinmu came out of the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. He exchanged his points for a rising dragon marrow. Apart from that, he exchanged his remaining demon hunting points for treasures of various attributes. If he were to exchange his points at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, he would need a long time to exchange for these treasures. However, if he were to use his demon hunting points to raise his chaotic dragon body to the sacred tier, he would be lacking the rising dragon marrow. With the rising dragon marrow, he would not need too many treasures. The main thing was Kang Shinmu's devouring power. The devouring of treasures would be efficient enough. Now that I have the rising dragon marrow, I need to raise my chaotic dragon body to the sacred tier. Kang Shinmu thought. Xiao Yuhua and the others also exchanged their points for some cultivation resources. The cultivation resources they exchanged were just ordinary cultivation resources. However, they were suitable for them as they only wanted to build a good foundation. For example, cultivation realm. Xiao Yuhua and the young lady in the white dress were both in the midst of a breakthrough. With a small amount of cultivation resources, they would be able to go very far. Ran and Liang Xiao were the same. They were talented to begin with. With sufficient cultivation resources, they would definitely be able to improve rapidly. When they arrived outside the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, the 5 of them decided to split up temporarily. They would return to their own palaces to cultivate and improve. They would meet again in 10 days. Kang Shinmu originally wanted to return as well. However, on second thought, if he wanted to cultivate the chaotic dragon body, it would be best if he had someone to spar with. As for sparring, Xiao Yuhua and the others were no longer enough. After all, their attacks could not pose any threat to Kang Shinmu. Thinking of this, Kang Shinmu turned around and returned to the office. He found Ling Hu Dai again. Hearing that Kang Shinmu wanted her to be his sparring partner and keep attacking Kang Shinmu to injure him, Ling Hu Dai was a little surprised. She stared at him and said, "Do you think I have so much time on my hands? However, since you want me to hit you, then it's another matter. Come. Lie down in the backyard first." At first, she was a little angry. However, she quickly revealed a devilish smile and agreed to Kang Shinmu's request. Kang Shinmu also felt that it wasn't good to trouble Mentor Dragon Emperor like this. After all, he definitely had a lot of things to do. However, he quickly realized that Ling Hu Dai had nothing to do. She was only guarding the office temporarily. After the official tutor of the office came to take over, she brought Kang Shinmu to the courtyard behind the office to prepare. This was a forest that occupied a rather vast area. Furthermore, it was divided into several rooms. It was obvious that it was originally meant for the dragon martial artist to cultivate. Ling Hu Dai brought Kang Shinmu to a room and had Kang Shinmu make his preparations. 7 days later, Kang Shinmu walked out of the room in disbelief. Ling Hu Dai followed behind him with a smile on her face and her hands behind her back. During these 7 days, Ling Hu Dai was like a devil tormenting him. Every attack was the kind that could kill Kang Shinmu. Fortunately, Kang Shinmu had consumed the ascending dragon marrow and absorbed a lot of natural treasure's spiritual qi. After he was injured, he quickly recovered. Then, he used the ascending dragon marrow's power to cultivate the chaotic dragon body. Originally, the chaotic dragon body reaching the heaven rank was already the limit. However, with the ascending dragon marrow's power, his chaotic dragon body continued to advance to a higher rank. Most importantly, Ling Hu Dai was actually proficient in some healing dragon martial techniques. This saved Kang Shinmu a lot of time to recover. Every attack of hers was just right. She controlled her power very well. Every attack of hers made Kang Shinmu feel so much pain that he wanted to die. However, he almost didn't die every time. Now, looking at Ling Hu Dai was like looking at a devil. Fortunately, her sharp control over her power was very useful for Kang Shinmu's cultivation of the chaotic dragon body. After 7 days, Ling Hu Dai sighed and said, "The effect of your chaotic dragon body breaking through to the sage rank is not bad. It has doubled your overall defensive capabilities. Previously, you said that you killed that high-rank demon general with the help of the East Emperor Academy students. If you were to encounter it again, you wouldn't need their help. You would be able to deal with such a high-rank devil general by yourself." "Thank you, teacher." Kang Shinmu was very grateful. Ling Hu Dai was like a little devil. She had tortured him very miserably. In 7 days, she had beaten him to the brink of death several hundred times. If not for that, Kang Shinmu might not have been able to make his chaotic dragon body break through to the sage rank so quickly. The rising dragon marrow is not easy to come by. Your chaotic dragon body is only a primary source dragon martial technique after all. Its effects are not very good. Of course, you can use it as a springboard to increase your strength first and then hunt more demonic creatures. Ling Hu Dai also knew what Kang Shinmu was thinking. After thinking for a while, she said, "There are still 3 days before the demonic creatures from the spatial tear charge out again. You should consolidate your strength and prepare carefully. This period of time is an opportunity, but it is also dangerous. Many students from the Dragon Martial Academy have died in the spatial tear battlefield. 80% of them were killed during this period of time. That is because there are too many demonic creatures that charge out. Furthermore, no one knows what level of opponents they will encounter. Of course, as long as they can come back alive and eliminate most of the demonic creatures, the students will gain a lot. An ordinary student from the Heaven Center district will gain as much as you did this time." These words made Kang Shinmu somewhat look forward to it. Even an ordinary student from the Heaven Center district would gain as much as he did this time. That would be great. He would get a rising dragon marrow every time. To many students in the Heaven Center district, the rising dragon marrow was also extremely rare. It was the same for Xiao Yuhua. If Xiao Yuhua's Phoenix Dance of the 9 Heavens reached the sage rank, she would be able to fight against demonic creatures 3 levels above her. That was because a sage rank high-grade primary source dragon martial technique was much stronger than a heaven rank high-grade primary source dragon martial technique. Kang Shinmu's chaotic dragon body was only a primary source dragon martial technique. Breaking through to the sage rank only doubled his physical defense. However, if it was a high-grade primary source dragon martial technique, the dragon god tyrant body technique, his physical defense would increase by at least 3 times. That was the difference. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu's dragon god tyrant body technique and wind shadow flowing cloud flash were still far from the heaven rank. Even if he had the rising dragon marrow, he would not be able to use it. It was better to consider cultivating to the earth rank first. Sage rank chaotic dragon body, successfully cultivated. Chapter 4476. Of course, Kang Shinmu could not rush these 2 aspects. If he was too impatient, it would be bad. Without a good foundation, it would be easy to leave hidden dangers in the future. In 7 days, his chaotic dragon body reached the sage tier. Even Ling Hu Dai, the powerful teacher of the Dragon Emperor, was shocked by this speed. After all, the most difficult thing for most people to do was to recover from injuries. Under normal circumstances, who would intentionally get injured? Only by recovering from injuries could one increase the speed of the dragon body refinement technique, and by a lot, even if it was just the elementary source dragon martial technique's primal chaos dragon body. If an ordinary person cultivated it, they would not be able to reach the heaven grade without a few years, much less the sage grade. However, Jiang Shenwu's recovery ability was strong, so he cultivated even faster. In addition, Ling Hu Dai had a good grasp of power. Every time, she could make Kang Shinmu half dead, which was the best result. If Kang Shinmu was seriously injured, even Ling Hu Dai could not help him recover. Kang Shinmu had to devour the power of the demonic core and recover to the point where he was on the brink of death. Only then could Ling Hu Dai help him slowly recover. Furthermore, the speed of recovery was not fast. It mainly depended on Kang Shinmu's devouring power. After leaving the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy, Jiang Shenwu finally saw the light of day again. He felt that it had been as long as a few months. It had only been 7 days. Time always passed very slowly in pain. During these 7 days, he had been in extreme pain for almost every moment. If it were someone else, they might not have been able to endure it. Fortunately, everything was settled now. The Saint-Tier chaotic dragon body had doubled Kang Shinmu's battle prowess. To him, doubling his defense was not that simple. It was related to how much power he could devour. It also meant that the upper limit of the opponents he could deal with had increased. Next, I have to prepare for the next demonic beast attack. The demonic beast attack happened once a month. It was the void demonic beasts attacking the void crack, trying to gather their forces to break through the barrier. Unfortunately, in the past half a year, they had attacked once a month and were all blocked by the dragon martial artists. The powerhouses of the Dragon Emperor and the students of the Dragon Martial Academy were not weaklings. Against the sea of demonic creatures, each of them could fight several of them. After all, while there were powerhouses among the void beasts, the most important ones were the devil spirits and devil soldiers. For example, high-class devil soldiers could be easily killed by the current Kang Shinmu. Moreover, Kang Shinmu did not even need to use his devouring power. He could just use the Great Desolation Demon Sweeping Sword and the Shadow Dragon Sky Raising Strike to deal with it. If it was the demon spirit, with a little more effort, if it was the demon general, it was not impossible to deal with it. In short, as long as one's strength reached Kang Shinmu's level, they would be able to hold their own, and it would be almost impossible for them to die in the attack of the demonic beasts. The attack of the demonic creatures was not the same as the charge of all the demonic creatures in the sky. After all, the void crack was too big, and the surrounding boundary was also very big. The other party deliberately set up a deceptive formation in many places to lure the Dragon Emperor and the powerhouses over. Then, they would mainly gather their forces to attack a certain part of the boundary. Only then would they be able to break through the boundary. Generally speaking, they would not be so unlucky to encounter the main army of the void beasts. As for Kang Shinmu, he did not even need to worry about encountering the main army of the void beasts. This was because as long as he used the protective crystal to delay them for a while, the seniors of the Dragon Martial Academy would definitely discover the main army of the void beasts and rush over to support them. The current me is at the 7th tier of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. There's still a small distance to the 8th tier. After my chaotic dragon body reaches the Sage tier, I have the confidence to deal with the second Nirvana beast and condense Nirvana power when I break through to the 8th tier. Looks like I'll have to work hard to raise my cultivation next. As for the Divine Dragon's Inheritance Blood Essence, I'm currently at the 6th tier of the Dragon King. If I want to break through to the 7th tier, I still need some Dragon Mark energy. Let's see if I can obtain that much from this attack of the demonic beasts. Kang Shinmu was looking forward to the future. The speed at which he was becoming stronger was far faster than the average Dragon Martial Academy student. Even Xiao Yuhua and the rest improved a lot faster after following Kang Shinmu. After all, they could obtain more experience points and demon hunting points. If they went out to hunt demons on their own, they would not be so efficient. In the next 3 days, Kang Shinmu consolidated his cultivation. Relying on the Dragon Mark Blood Pendant's balance ability, he completely grasped the power that he had just cultivated. Then, he realized that the number of Dragon Martial Academy students at the Void Disc had increased dramatically in the last 2 days. Without a doubt, the attack of the demonic beasts was an excellent opportunity for anyone to improve. As long as one could survive, the rewards would be extremely high. Many Dragon Emperor powerhouses and Dragon Martial Academy students would come to hunt every time the demonic beasts attacked. They would block the demonic beasts' attacks and spend the rest of the time cultivating in seclusion. Under such circumstances, the overall strength of the Dragon Martial continent was improving rapidly. The students who could come to the Void Rift battlefield improved at least 2 or 3 times faster than those who did not. Moreover, there were no powerful demon emperors in the Beast Abyss. If they continued to stay in the Beast Abyss, their improvement would be too slow. Since Kang Shinmu came to the Void Rift battlefield, he could not go back to the Beast Abyss to train. That would be too inefficient. It just so happens that the Void Rift appeared. Otherwise, would not have such an opportunity to improve by leaps and bounds. Kang Shinmu thought to himself. He waited in the office of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. He saw many Dragon Martial Academy students coming and going on the streets outside. He saw Feng Ligay, Emperor Qin, and finally Yu Tianchang. When Yu Tianchang saw Kang Shinmu, she was obviously stunned. Then, she smiled and walked up to Kang Shinmu. Kang Shinmu, why are you here? Yu Tianchang was still worried when she saw Kang Shinmu. The demonic beast's attacks are coming soon. If you step into the Void Rift battlefield, you might be in danger. Why don't you come with me? Yu Tianchang had always acted alone in the Void Rift battlefield. Now that she saw Kang Shinmu, she wanted to bring him along. It could be considered as helping Kang Shinmu. After all, she was the one who introduced Kang Shinmu to Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Initially, when Kang Shinmu was targeted by Zhou Xiaofeng, it was entirely because of her. Therefore, she felt a little guilty. Senior Yu, do you still think that this kid is so weak that you want to bring him along to protect him? At this moment, a sneering voice was heard. This Kang Shinmu just killed a high-rank devil general a while ago. It was said that Qin Xiaoya of our Eastern Emperor assisted him. Chapter 4477. Yu Tianchang and Kang Shinmu looked in the direction of the voice. They saw a man in green with 3 Donghuang Yangwu College students looking in their direction. That green-robed man was actually Chu Qingyun. During the demonic beast training, Chu Qingyun's limelight had been overshadowed by Kang Shinmu, and he had even lost the Great Desolate Demon Rinsing Sword in a bet with Kang Shinmu. Now, the Great Desolate Demon Rinsing Sword had become an important dragon weapon for Kang Shinmu. Of course, Chu Qingyun was unhappy with Kang Shinmu. After this fellow had lost to Kang Shinmu, it could be said that Donghuang Yangwu College had lost face. students from Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial College appeared in front of students from Donghuang University with their heads held high, causing Donghuang Yangwu College's prestige to be much lower than before. As a student of Donghuang Yangwu College, it was because of this that they could not lift their heads high most of the time. This was also the reason why Qin Xiaoye was so hostile to Kang Xinmu when she first saw him. Therefore, Chu Qingyun was basically beaten down by Zhuo Xiaofeng, and there were no more training resources. Moreover, he had even given the experience points he had gained from the demonic beast training to the Dragon Martial College mentor who had opened the back door. This was a huge loss. This also caused Chu Qingyun's training to be very poor. Everyone had a chance to improve rapidly, and the experience points they had gained from the demonic beast training had allowed everyone to improve by leaps and bounds. However, Chu Qingyun was basically still in the same place. Even the 3 Donghuang students behind Chu Qingyun were much stronger than Chu Qingyun in terms of strength. However, Chu Qingyun explained that he was accumulating the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, so the 3 Donghuang students still believed him and followed him, treating him as their leader. The current Chu Qingyun might not even be able to deal with a superior demon spirit. Not to mention a superior demon general. Right now, Jiang Shenwu had the qualifications to speak on the same level as an elite student like Qin Xiaoye. But in front of Qin Xiaoye, Chu Qingyun could only act like a grandson. This was because Qin Xiaoye wouldn't even glance at him. This time, Chu Qingyun had actually come to the spatial rift battlefield, and had even led a team to participate in the demonic beast attack. Without a doubt, this was not the first time Chu Qingyun had done something like this. Unfortunately, with his strength, he could only follow behind his little brother, and the demon hunting points he gained were few. Even after participating in the demonic beast attack several times, Chu Qingyun had not improved much. His base had only increased by 1 level, and his Dragon Emperor blood inheritance had not changed in a long time. He had wanted to work, but without resources and no demon hunting points, how could he have done? In particular, after being specially trained by Zhuo Xiaofeng, he had already relied on the days of eating heavenly treasures like crazy. Now that he had suddenly returned to his pre-liberation state, he could not adapt at all. Especially after being specially nurtured by Zhuo Xiaofeng. The other students of Donghuang Yangwu College would look at him with strange expressions. This caused him to be in a miserable state right now. Other than the 3 underlings behind him who were still loyal and devoted, the other students of the Eastern Imperial Dragon Martial Academy would look at him with strange gazes. Many students who were inferior to Chu Qingyun in the past had now far surpassed him, leaving him in the dust. Many students who were inferior to Chu Qingyun in the past had now far surpassed him, leaving him in the dust. This fellow, why is he like a haunting ghost? When Kang Xinmu saw Chu Qingyun, he frowned. He didn't think that with Chu Qingyun's strength, he would actually dare to come to the spatial rift battlefield. It seemed like he was being protected by his 3 little brothers. Otherwise, he would have died in the hands of the demonic beasts the moment he entered the supreme enchantment. Chu Qingyun, why aren't you cultivating properly? Why are you wandering around? Yu Tianchang glanced at Chu Qingyun. She naturally didn't have a good impression of him. Senior sister Yu, I just can't bear to see you so close to this Jiang guy. This is purely ruining your future. Chu Qingyun glanced at Yu Tianchang with a fawning expression. Does it have anything to do with you who I'm close to? Yu Tianchang sneered and couldn't be bothered with Chu Qingyun. Others might not know, but how could she not know that Chu Qingyun was Zhuo Xiaofeng's dog? Yu Tianchang didn't have a good impression of Zhuo Xiaofeng, let alone Chu Qingyun. Chu Qingyun didn't know that Zhuo Xiaofeng was targeting Kang Xinmu because of Yu Tianchang. But Yu Tianchang knew. Chu Qingyun was Zhuo Xiaofeng's dog. Even after being abandoned, he was still loyal. It had to be said that Chu Qingyun was really powerful. It doesn't matter. However, it's best that senior sister Yu doesn't walk together with the traitor of our Donghuang Yangwu College. Chu Qingyun's expression turned sinister as he said, if news of this were to spread, I'm afraid the students of our Donghuang College would be bitterly disappointed. There are many people who want to participate in the demonic attack with Senior Sister Yu, but Senior Sister ignored them all. In the end, you want to bring an outsider. What he said was true. But to Yu Tianchang, there was no need to care about this. She was just about to speak when Kang Shinmu smiled and shook his head. He stopped Yu Tianchang. Senior Sister, what he said isn't wrong. I'll go out and hunt some small demonic creatures. If I follow Senior Sister, I won't be able to get any training. You really don't want to follow me? Yu Tianchang was a little surprised. She smiled and said, "Oh right, he just said that you can kill a high-ranked devil general. Is that true? I did it with Qin Xiaoya. But now, I should be able to deal with a high-ranked devil general alone." Kang Shinmu nodded and admitted it. Even if it's a demonic attack, I think it shouldn't be too big of a problem. That's good. Yu Tianchang heaved a sigh of relief. Then, she carefully sized up Kang Shinmu. Unfortunately, no matter how she looked, she couldn't see that Kang Shinmu could actually kill a high-ranked devil general. Others thought so too. So now that this matter had spread out, everyone said that Kang Shinmu had taken advantage of Qin Xiaoya. If Qin Xiaoya hadn't used the reincarnation to burn to extinction, how could Kang Shinmu have taken advantage of her? That high-rank devil general's demonic core would never have been given to Kang Shinmu. When Qin Xiaoya heard these rumors, she would explain that she had indeed taken advantage of Kang Shinmu to be able to kill that high-rank devil general. But others didn't believe her. The key was that Qin Xiaoya's 2 followers had been spreading rumors about Kang Shinmu. So this matter had basically been settled. They all thought that Kang Shinmu had taken advantage of her and was a despicable person. In any case, Kang Shinmu couldn't be bothered to pay attention to others. In this world, strength spoke for everything. Chapter 4478. In Kang Shinmu's opinion, even a super genius like Yu Tianshang was not impossible to surpass. In the eyes of Chu Qinyun and the others, Yu Tianshang was destined to be stronger than them. They would never be able to surpass a genius dragon martial artist student like Yu Tianshang. There was already a gap in their thinking. Therefore, Kang Shinmu was destined to leave mediocre people like Chu Qinyun far behind. Even though people like Chu Qinyun were already top-notch geniuses in the dragon martial continent, in the eyes of Kang Shinmu, they were not qualified to be mentioned in the same breath as him. Since that's the case, I won't disturb you anymore. If you need any help, you can look for me. Yu Tianshang said a little more to Kang Shinmu, then left in a hurry. After all, she was the top student of Donghuang Yangwu College. Her battle prowess was extremely strong, and it was very likely that she was trying to reach the strength of Tutor Dragon Emperor. The invasion of demonic creatures from the Void Crack was a very good opportunity for her to improve. Even her relative, Yu Yaji, the Dean of Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy, could not provide such abundant cultivation resources. Only when something big happened could a supreme divine dragon provide such abundant resources. After Yu Tianshang left, Chu Qingyun threw a provocative look at Kang Shinmu, then left with his men. "Boss, if we see Kang Shinmu in the battlefield where the demonic creatures attack, should we?" After walking far away, one of Chu Qingyun's lackeys behind him made a beheading gesture and asked in a low voice. "Of course. Do you need me to say it?" Chu Qingyun's face was gloomy. "We'd better keep a close eye on his movements. There are many people in our Dragon Martial Academy who don't like him. As long as we know his location, we don't need to do anything ourselves." In fact, Chu Qingyun was somewhat afraid of Kang Shinmu, because Kang Shinmu's battle prowess was too terrifying. Before the demonic creature's trial, Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy's team led by Kang Shinmu could already kill a 6th-tier devil spirit, which was much stronger than the team led by Chu Qingyun. By now, Chu Qingyun felt that Kang Shinmu wasn't someone he could deal with. Even if his entire team attacked together, it still wouldn't be enough. They did not have the confidence to cooperate with Qin Xiaoya to kill a high-ranked devil general. Since Kang Shinmu could do it, he definitely possessed extraordinary battle prowess. Therefore, they planned to follow Kang Xinmu closely and leak his information to other Donghuang Yangwu College students. In this way, there would be plenty of experts to deal with Kang Xinmu. Of course, Kang Xinmu didn't know about this. In fact, he didn't really care. After all, he had the protective crystal and had 4 chances to save his life. He wasn't afraid of encountering any unsolvable danger. He continued to wait at the entrance of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. Soon, he saw Xiao Yuhua and the other 3. The 4 of them came up together. Xiao Yuhua, Xiao Bai, Liang Xiao, and Ran Ran. After the 4 of them came up and met up with Kang Xinmu, they each explained the situation of their cultivation. Among them, Xiao Yuhua and Xiao Bai already had inherited blood essence at the level of the Dragon Emperor. Their cultivation had also broken through to the 2nd level of the Samsara realm. Moreover, they each cultivated a high-grade origin dragon martial skill and had even reached the peak of the heaven realm. There was still a gap between their battle prowess and Qin Xiaoye's, but compared to before, they were already much stronger. The key was Little White. This time, she had finally completely fused with her own dragon weapon. It was an ice longbow, and its entire body was emitting a cold aura. She had not used it much before, because the dragon martial skill, Ice-Splitting Heaven Slash, was not suitable for a bow-type dragon weapon. Even if she forcefully used the power of the ice longbow, its might wouldn't be as strong as directly using the ice-rending Heaven Slash. But now, it was different. She had completely fused with the ice longbow. When she used another bow-type dragon martial skill, her lethality was at least 2 times greater than before. This time, she had improved a lot. Naturally, the others had also improved a lot. For example, Liang Zhao's current inherited blood essence was at the 8th level of the Dragon King, and his cultivation had broken through to the 1st level of the Samsara realm. He focused on breaking through to the next level of cultivation. After reaching the Samsara realm, his blood explosion talent gave birth to a reincarnation level effect. This allowed his blood explosion power to produce continuous explosions. One attack was equivalent to 3 previous attacks, and the energy consumed was still the same as before. The power of these 3 superimposed attacks wasn't as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. 3 superimposed attacks bombarded the same place. The destructive power would probably be 7 or 8 times greater than before, or even 10 times greater. Everything depended on whether he attacked the opponent's weakness. It could be said that Liang Zhao's blood explosion talent was also extremely strong. It had more special effects than Xiao Yuhua's fire attribute power and Xiao Bai's ice attribute power. In terms of attack power, Liang Xiao didn't lose to Xiao Yuhua and the others by much. However, in terms of overall strength, Liang Xiao was still too weak. After all, he was only at the 8th level of the Dragon King's inherited blood essence. There was still a huge gap between the Dragon King and the Dragon Emperor. By the time Liang Xiao could break through to the Dragon Emperor's blood essence, Xiao Bai and Xiao Yuhua would probably have reached the 2nd level of the Dragon Emperor. The gap would still be there. Therefore, it wouldn't be easy for Liang Xiao to catch up to Xiao Bai and Xiao Yuhua. Without special opportunities, it was basically impossible. Xiao Bai and Xiao Yuhua would always be stronger than Liang Xiao. Of course, this was a comparison of overall strength. If there was Kang Xinmu blocking in front of him, Liang Xiao would probably catch up very quickly. After all, the effect of the blood explosion power was still very terrifying. As for Ran Ran, she had recently broken through to the 1st level of the rebirth realm. She was very talented to begin with, and her efficiency in absorbing natural treasures was also very high. Breaking through her realm wasn't slow, especially since she had recently obtained more cultivation resources and demon hunting points. After reaching the 1st level of the rebirth realm, her Dark Jade Extreme Breaker power had also developed a new effect. It had an extreme restraining effect on darkness attribute power. And the demonic chi of void demons was a type of darkness attribute power. In other words, Ran Rant's rebirth realm power naturally restrained the power of void demons. Her power could easily break through the demonic chi defense of demons of the same realm, and even disintegrate their attacks. This was the Dark Jade Extreme Breaker Dragon. It could be said that the Dark Jade Extreme Breaker Dragon bloodline was basically the nemesis of void demons. Compared to Xiao Yuhua and Xiao Bai, Ran Rant's cultivation realm and inherited blood essence grade were weaker. But when facing void demons, Ran Rant's combat strength might not be weaker than the two of them. Since everyone has improved, our overall combat strength has gone up another level. Chapter 4479. With such a friend by his side, Kang Xinmu felt very relieved. At least, he was much better than Chu Qingyun. However, the students that Chu Qingyun brought with him made Kang Xinmu a little surprised. He didn't think that those 3 students would actually follow Chu Qingyun, as if they would never abandon him. Although they were clearly much stronger than Chu Qingyun, it was a pity that Jiang Shenwu couldn't interfere in such matters. Not to mention that he did not know them. Even if he did, he would not be able to influence their decisions. After meeting up with Xiao Yuhua and the others, Kang Xinmu planned to set off. The demonic attack this time should start in the evening in the Dragon Martial Continent and continue for at least a night. This night was a matter of life and death for many people. As long as they could hunt down the void demonic creatures, the harvest would be considerable. Many people were rubbing their palms in preparation on the void disc. Each of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies had their own offices, and outside of their offices was a large plaza where everyone could gather. Kang Xinmu and the others gathered at the plaza of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. At a glance, there were dozens of dragon martial artists, all preparing for the demonic attack. Among them, Feng Ligay seemed to be planning to act alone. As for the other dragon martial artists, they had basically formed small teams. There were even some Dragon Emperor mentors who would participate in this operation. The Dragon Martial Artist camp was well prepared for this demonic attack. On the other side of the void disc, hundreds of Dragon Emperor level powerhouses had gathered. When it was time to set off, everyone set off from the void disc and gathered near the supreme barrier. Hey, isn't this little brother Jiang? Suddenly, Kang Xinmu heard a surprised voice. He looked in the direction of the voice and saw a familiar figure. It was the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang that he met when Ran participated in the Genius Trial in Donghuang Yangwu College. Liang Luo, the son of the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang, should be cultivating in Donghuang Yangwu College. Kang Xinmu also met him during the demonic trial, but they only exchanged a few words. Unexpectedly, now, Kang Xinmu met Liang Luo's father, the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang. This Dragon Emperor of Great Liang was a powerful existence who could cultivate to the 3rd level of the Dragon Emperor in the Dragon Martial Continent. But now, this Dragon Emperor of Great Liang seemed to have reached the 4th level of the Dragon Emperor after fighting in the Void Crack battlefield for half a year. It had to be said that this progress was too fast. If there was no such opportunity, it was likely that the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang would need decades to break through to the 4th level of the Dragon Emperor. But in this place, only half a year had passed, and he broke through. And in addition to the inherited blood essence reaching the 4th level of the Dragon Emperor, the combat power of the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang in other aspects was obviously not too low, and most likely had also improved. It seemed that the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang had hunted a lot of void demonic creatures in the Void Crack battlefield. Behind the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang, there were some Dragon King of the 9th level of the Reincarnation Tribulation realm. Those were the subordinates of the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang's Dragon Emperor Kingdom, generals, and the like. All of them were quite strong. On the one hand, bringing them along was to deal with some things, restrain some opponents during the battle, and also give them a push. Once they could get enough demon hunting points, they would have the opportunity to break through and become a powerhouse of the Dragon Emperor. For them, this was a major breakthrough in their lives. Once they succeeded, they would step into another level, and even be qualified to rule a Dragon Emperor kingdom on the Dragon Martial Continent. Great Liang Dragon Emperor, I didn't expect you to come here. Kang Shinmu nodded to the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang as a greeting. The Dragon Emperor of Great Liang laughed and said, "It has been a year since the last time we parted. I didn't expect little brother Jiang to be able to kill an upper-level devil general. It's really not easy. It seems that little brother Jiang is doing well at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy." He and Kang Shinmu were acquaintances, and his son Liang Luo was able to join Dongguang Yangwu College because he was with Ran Ran. He glanced at Ran Ran and said with a smile, "Miss Ran Ran is also here, what a coincidence." Sigh, this time, our dragon martial continent has suffered a great change. If there are more geniuses like you, the dragon martial continent will have greater hope in the future. As the Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Emperor Kingdom, he naturally had to consider more problems than Kang Shinmu and the others. Not only did they need to improve their own strength, but they also needed to consider the people of the Dragon Emperor Kingdom. Therefore, they had to have a broader vision, while the students of the Dragon Martial Academy mainly focused on improving their own strength. Ran Ran did not have any thoughts about the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang. Hearing what he said, she just glanced at him. However, Ran Ran suddenly saw a group of people flying out from the crowd, and her eyes lit up. She tugged on Kang Shinmu's sleeve and said, "Brother Jiang, look, isn't that Dragon Emperor Yen and the others?" Ran Ran had returned to the Yen Dragon Emperor Kingdom with Kang Shinmu previously, so she had seen the Dragon Emperor Yen. She knew that Kang Shinmu valued the Yen Dragon Emperor Kingdom very much. Therefore, when she saw the Dragon Emperor Yen, Ran Ran was a little surprised. She did not expect the Dragon Emperor Yen to come as well. The Dragon Emperor of Great Liang did not care much, and was still chatting with Kang Shinmu enthusiastically. "Brother Jiang, since we are fated to meet, why don't you come with me? When it comes to hunting and killing void monsters, I do have some insights." "There's no need for that," Kang Shinmu said modestly. "After all, we came out to train. Although it is for demon hunting points, the process of training is also indispensable. If we really follow the Dragon Emperor, I am afraid we will not get any training, and the demon hunting points will be useless." When Kang Shinmu was fighting now, he had been practicing the fusion with the Great Desolate Demon Sword in actual combat, and also the cultivation of the two advanced Source Dragon martial techniques. If he really followed the Dragon Emperor of Great Liang, or followed Yu Tianchang before, it would not be in line with Kang Shinmu's idea. If he followed these two, it would be safe enough, but he might not gain much. Moreover, he would lose the opportunity to train, which was not worth the loss. Anyway, Kang Shinmu was not worried about safety now. "Hey, that's right, if the senior wants to bring someone, why not bring the Dragon Emperor Yen along?" Kang Shinmu suddenly thought of this matter, and his eyes could not help but brighten up. At this time, the Dragon Emperor Yen in the distance also happened to see Kang Shinmu, and immediately flew over, followed by 6 flame dragon envoys. The 6 flame dragon envoys were all top Dragon King powerhouses, and the grade of their blood essence was not far from the Dragon Emperor, so the Dragon Emperor Yen brought them along to try their luck. As long as they could hunt void demons, they could get demon hunting points, and then they could exchange for treasures that contain dragon mark energy. Chapter 4480. Great Liang Dragon Emperor was also alone, with several generals of Great Liang's Dragon Kingdom. And Yen Dragon Emperor was also alone, with 6 Yen Dragon envoys. If they walked together, Great Liang Dragon Emperor would definitely take care of Yen Dragon Emperor. After all, Dragon Emperor Yen was only the 2nd level of Dragon Emperor's inherited blood, 2 levels lower than Great Liang Dragon Emperor, and his strength was also weaker. Of course, both of them were at the peak of the 9th level of Samsara realm. Except for the level of Dragon Emperor's inherited blood, there was basically no difference between them in other aspects. Yen Dragon Emperor. When Great Liang Dragon Emperor saw Yen Dragon Emperor, he was a little surprised, but since he was a friend recommended by Kang Shinmu, he was willing to make friends. Yen Dragon Emperor soon came over, and then chatted with Kang Shinmu for a while, and also got to know Great Liang Dragon Emperor. Great Liang's Dragon Kingdom was probably located in the middle of Dragon Emperor Dynasty in Donghuang Yangwu College, and the distance was still relatively far. If it wasn't for the opening of the Void Crack battlefield, perhaps these two Dragon Emperors would never meet, let alone become friends. But now, they met in the Void Crack battlefield, and became friends through Kang Shinmu's introduction. Maybe they could become good friends in the future. Your Yan Dragon Emperor dynasty can cultivate a genius like Kang Shinmu. It's really amazing. Great Liang Dragon Emperor heard that Kang Shinmu came from Yan Dragon Emperor dynasty. He was a little shocked and very impressed. Your Great Liang Dragon Kingdom is still the best. Our Yan Dragon Emperor dynasty is just a small border dragon kingdom. If it wasn't for Kang Shinmu, I'm afraid we wouldn't even be able to enter your eyes. Dragon Emperor Yan laughed heartily and said, and this Kang Shinmu. To be honest, I didn't train him at all. Instead, he made our Dragon Emperor Yan proud. Today, let's move together. Hopefully, we'll be able to gain more at this critical juncture. Great Liang Dragon Emperor laughed and patted Dragon Emperor Yan's shoulder. Then, Dragon Emperor and Kang Shinmu bade farewell. As for Great Liang's Dragon Emperor's son, Liang Luo, he was just an ordinary dragon martial artist, at least in the Dragon Martial Academy. No matter how much of a genius he was probably just a student in the Yuheng district, at most a student in the Migres district. If they came to this Void Crack battlefield, they probably wouldn't even know how they died. The current Liang Luo was definitely not as good as Chu Qingyun. After all, Chu Qingyun had been cultivating in Donghuang Yangwu College for a long time, and was specially trained by Zhou Xiaofeng for a period of time. Even the current Chu Qingyun was just cannon fodder in the Void Crack battlefield. It could be speculated that the current Liang Luo would not be able to come here, let alone face the attack of the demons. Great Liang Dragon Emperor and Yan Dragon Emperor Yan left together, which made Kang Shinmu feel a little relieved. Although Dragon Emperor Yan had been here with Yan Dragon Envoy for a long time, and had experienced a few demon attacks, there shouldn't be any danger. However, when the demonic creatures attacked, it still depended on luck. If they were unlucky enough to encounter a large group of demonic creatures, it would be safer for the Yan Dragon Emperor and the Great Liang Dragon Emperor to stay together. Donghuang Yangwu College, Qin Fengyu, Lu Hua, Bao Peng, and Qin Shouji didn't come. Kang Shinmu looked around and didn't see these old friends. It seemed that their strength had not kept up recently. Generally speaking, only students who had reached Tianxian district would come to the Void Crack battlefield to improve themselves. Most of the other students stayed in Dragon Martial College. Kang Shinmu was already an exception. Otherwise, Kang Shinmu wouldn't have come to the Void Crack battlefield. This was a grand occasion. Appearing in front of Kang Shinmu were hundreds of Dragon Emperor powerhouses, each with a few Dragon King powerhouses from the Dragon Emperor Kingdom. Even those Dragon King powerhouses were not weaker than many students in the Tianji district. After all, they were Dragon King powerhouses at the 9th level of the reincarnation realm. For example, the 6 Flame Dragon Envoys. Their strength was at least at the level of Xiao Yuhua and Xiao Bai. However, because they only had inherited essence blood at the level of the Dragon King, they would be suppressed by the Dragon Emperor in battle. Their advantage in cultivation level was enough to make up for the suppression. To put it bluntly, the students of Dragon Martial College were basically just vassals in the battlefield against the Void Crack demons. The most basic combat power was still the Dragon Emperor and Dragon King of the Dragon Emperor Kingdom. The top combat power was the tutors of Dragon Martial College and the top students of the Heaven Center District. Even the deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Colleges would appear at the crucial moment, such as Yu Yaji, Zhou Xiaofeng, and so on. Countless people were waiting for the demon's attack to begin. The demonic hordes appeared from the cracks in the void. Every month, the cracks would open once, and during this period, a large number of void demonic creatures would appear from the cracks and attack the surrounding boundary. At this time every month, the deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Colleges would attack together to kill most of the void demons. In reality, the others were just picking up the leftovers. After all, the area of the Void Crack was too vast, and there were too many void demons. Even the deans of the 4 super dragon colleges could not kill all of them. At this moment, many dragon martialists gathered together. Then, Jiang Shenwu saw 4 super mystical dragons that were tens of thousands of feet long appear in the void in front of them, arriving in front of everyone. As usual, everyone will be divided into 4 directions and spread out to different parts of the supreme barrier. We still don't have enough people. We can't cover the entire supreme barrier. There's still danger. If we encounter danger, I'm afraid we won't even have the chance to call for backup. Many people started discussing in private. Kang Xinmu also heard the discussion, but he did not care. When he planned to face the demon's attack, he was already prepared to face strong enemies. Very quickly, the 4 super mystical dragons in front did not say much. After seeing that everyone had gathered, they flew off in 4 different directions. In any case, don't follow Zhuo Xiaofeng. Kang Xinmu thought to himself. He looked in the direction where Yu Yaji was and led his people to follow. Zhuo Xiaofeng had a grudge against him, so he would be courting death if he followed. As for the deans of the South Emperor and the North Wilderness Dragon Martial Colleges, Kang Xinmu did not know them at all. He did not know them, so there was no need for him to follow them. It was safer to follow Yu Yaji. She might even be able to save him at the crucial moment. There were a total of more than 2,000 dragon warriors, and they dispersed towards the various parts of the supreme barrier in this order. After the demonic creatures appeared from the void rift, they all rushed in all directions. They only needed to guard the edge of the spirit formation, wait for them to rush over, and then kill them. This was the most suitable, because once they discovered that there were too many enemies, they could retreat to the back of the spirit formation and rely on the spirit formation to isolate the enemies. In this way, no matter how strong the void demons were or how many there were, they would not be able to hurt them. Chapter 4481. Kang Xinmu led the team and followed Yu Yaji. The super dragon god's body was over 2,000 feet long, and it was like a majestic mountain range traversing through the void. The other hundreds of dragon warriors followed behind her, each discussing where they should go to guard. Yu Yaji didn't show favoritism at this time, and she couldn't. It was impossible for her to bring Kang Xinmu along. After all, she was shouldering a very important mission, which was to kill most of the void monsters. If she brought Kang Xinmu along, it wouldn't be good for Kang Xinmu, and it wouldn't be good for her either. She might even encounter danger herself. That was because the void monsters that rushed out of the void crack might have demon commander level existences. Once a demon commander level existence appeared, it would be a huge threat to Yu Yaji and the others. Therefore, Kang Xinmu had to find an area to guard by himself. At this time, because everyone was scattered in different places, after choosing the area they needed to guard, they basically wouldn't meet other dragon warriors. Generally speaking, no one would cause trouble at this time. Even Zhuo Xiaofeng didn't have the guts to do so. If he messed things up and the void monsters broke through the supreme boundary, Zhuo Xiaofeng's responsibility would be extremely heavy. If the supreme dragon god blamed him, Zhuo Xiaofeng wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Therefore, Kang Xinmu didn't have to worry about others causing trouble at this time. Of course, if someone really wanted to secretly plot against him, he wasn't afraid either. Anyway, the monsters attacked once a month, and it was such an excellent opportunity to earn demon hunting points. Kang Xinmu felt that no one would give up this opportunity and attack him instead. What Kang Xinmu didn't know was that the students of Donghuang Yangwu College had already spread news about Kang Xinmu. Many people in the crowd were watching Kang Xinmu's movements. There were tens of thousands of small formation eyes on the supreme boundary. These small formation eyes had to be guarded, and the void monsters also wanted to find a breakthrough from these small formation eyes. Therefore, the dragon martial artists were free to choose their own small array eyes to guard. Very quickly, Kang Xinmu randomly picked a small array core and flew towards it. Together with Xiao Yuhua and the other 3, the 5 of them flew towards the supreme boundary. At the same time, quite a number of people in the crowd saw this scene actually flew out one after another. They flew towards the smaller array eyes that were closer to them, as though they were going to protect those array eyes. Why are there so many people guarding this place? Yu Yaji took a casual glance and found that those who flew out with Kang Xinmu were all students of Donghuang Yangwu College. These students were divided into groups of 3 or 4, and there were actually 4 groups in total. They landed around Kang Xinmu. It was as if they had surrounded Kang Xinmu's group of 5. I'm afraid they're going to target Kang Xinmu. Yu Yaji's mouth curled up as she thought to herself. However, she took a look at the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. There were a total of 15 people, among which only 5 were students of the Tianxian district, and the other 10 were students of the Tianji district. Not a single one from the Tianshu district. Yu Yaji was relieved and did not say anything. She believed that Kang Xinmu could deal with these students of Donghuang Yangwu College by himself. In any case, she knew that Kang Xinmu had obtained the protective crystal from the Supreme Dragon God. If not, there was still the protective crystal. Who could hurt Kang Xinmu? Jiang Shenwu flew towards the unparalleled dimension. Soon, he, Xiao Yuhua and the others passed through the unparalleled dimension and arrived inside the unparalleled dimension. Here, they could feel a very strong demonic aura, as well as a rather strong smell of blood. It was likely that many void demons had died in the vicinity, as the smell of blood lingered for a long time. The supreme boundary was a layer of translucent void barrier. This barrier flickered in the light and darkness, and at the location of the small formation core, there was a relatively bright spot of light. The entire supreme boundary was connected by tens of thousands of such shining spots of light, and every 2 spots of light were separated by a distance of 10 miles. At this time, Kang Xinmu discovered that around the small formation core he was at, within a radius of 10 miles, there were actually 4 teams of dragon warriors landing at the same time. It seemed that they were planning to guard the 4 small formation cores. I've never seen such a concentrated number of small formation cores before. Kang Xinmu narrowed his eyes. One must know that there were a total of more than 10,000 small formation cores, but the number of dragon warriors was only slightly more than 2,000, and these dragon warriors were almost all in teams. In other words, there were a total of 400 to 500 groups of dragon warriors, which could guard 400 to 500 small formation cores. Generally, there would be a group of dragon warriors guarding a distance of 200 to 300 miles. But now, within a radius of 10 miles from Kang Xinmu, there were actually 5 groups of dragon warriors. How could Kang Xinmu not worry about this? They are students from Donghuang Yangwu College. Xiao Yuhua observed for a while and said calmly. Well, I can see that. Kang Xinmu nodded. He was from Donghuang Yangwu College, so he naturally recognized those people. A total of 4 groups of students from Donghuang Yangwu College descended directly around him and surrounded him from 4 directions. There was no doubt that the other party wanted to cause trouble. Kang Xinmu narrowed his eyes and said, now that the demons are about to attack, no one knows when they will attack. Otherwise, I would like to get rid of these guys first. With Lingyin's treasure ring, Kang Xinmu could completely compete with those students from Tianxian district. Even if it was a student from Tianxian district, as long as it was not a top expert like Yu Tiancheng, Kang Xinmu could compete with them. These guys in front of him probably did not know what kind of strength Kang Xinmu had now. Of course, if the 4 groups of dragon warriors came together to cause trouble, Kang Xinmu was afraid that he would not be a match for them. Therefore, Kang Xinmu wanted to take the initiative to gain the upper hand, but unfortunately, he did not know when the demons would attack, so he gave up on the idea of stirring up trouble. In order to prevent unexpected situations, Kang Xinmu and the other 4 were all in their divine dragon form, guarding near the small formation core. The 4 groups of Donghuang Yangwu College students who landed around Kang Xinmu were now also in their dragon form, preparing for the demon's attack. They really wanted to attack Kang Xinmu, but they could not do it directly. Instead, they wanted to observe first, to see what kind of strength Kang Xinmu had, then decide whether they should attack or not. After all, they were not fools. Moreover, the demon's attack was a rare opportunity. They also wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to obtain more demon hunting points. Only by obtaining more demon hunting points could they become stronger. This was the foundation of their strength. As students of Dragon Martial Academy, they would not be ignorant of this, so for the time being, they would not take the initiative to cause trouble. Everything would have to wait for the void demons to appear. Roughly an incense stick's worth of time after Jiang Shenwu landed, suddenly, all the dragon martial artists in the vicinity of the Supreme Spirit Formation felt a burst of void energy spreading out from the crack in the void, causing the surrounding space to tremble. It was as if a wave of void ripples swept across the surroundings. Then, a wave of extremely rich and violent devil chi suddenly came from the direction of the void crack. The demon's attack had finally begun. Chapter 4482. The demonic aura swept across the area and spread out of the supreme boundary. In the direction of the void rift, there was a roar of void demonic creatures. It was as if an army of demonic creatures had passed through the void rift and arrived at the starry sky that originally belonged to the martial dragon continent. They're here. Kang Shinmu's expression darkened as he prepared for battle. The distance between the void rift and the supreme boundary was at least 1,000 miles, but for the void demonic creatures, it would only take half an hour to fly over. After all, there was no resistance in the starry sky, and it was much faster than flying on the martial dragon continent. I wonder if we'll face an army of demonic creatures or demonic creature scouts. Xiao Yuhua was also a little nervous. Ran followed closely beside Kang Shinmu, paying attention to everything around them. Not even the direction of the void rift, but the 4 small array cores around them. If the students of Dongguan Yangwu College launched a sneak attack, no one would be prepared for it. Only Ran was vigilantly watching the surroundings. This was a habit she had developed over a long period of time as an assassin, but she was too sensitive this time. When the void demonic creatures rushed out, the students of Dongguan Yangwu College in the other 4 directions clearly did not intend to attack. Facing the void demonic creatures was the common thought of all the students. Even if it was not for the greater good, it was for the demon hunting points that they could obtain. This was the foundation of their cultivation. Unless the situation stabilized, the 4 groups of dragon warriors from Dongguan Yangwu College would only consider attacking Kang Shinmu, which was to teach Kang Shinmu a lesson. Everyone waited anxiously, keeping their guard up. About half an hour passed. They're here, they're scouts. Kang Shinmu was relieved. He felt some movement in the surrounding space, and then he sensed the hidden aura of the superior demon spirits. There were a total of 2 superior demon spirits, hidden, wandering through the void. Their concealment methods were extremely brilliant, but unfortunately, Kang Shinmu had the help of the centipede ink beast, so he was able to see through them immediately. Get ready to attack. Kang Shinmu did not hesitate. The 2 superior devil spirits that came were not too strong for him, so he could kill them directly. He could also take the opportunity to devour their power and increase his resistance to devil chi. Right now, Kang Shinmu's resistance was still in its initial state. He had to deal with some small monsters first before his defense could reach its peak. Otherwise, if he were to encounter another existence at the level of a high-ranked devil general, it would be impossible for Kang Shinmu to resist. It was a pity that Ran's power was a little weak. Otherwise, Kang Shinmu would be able to directly devour her power and increase his resistance to the power of darkness. Moreover, only half of the devil chi's attribute was darkness. Devouring the power of Ran's Black Jade Extreme Breaker would not increase his resistance to the devil chi's attacks very much. Kang Shinmu did not carry out these operations. Anyway, his current chaotic dragon body had broken through to the sacred level. At this level, his initial resistance had doubled. It would not be a problem to deal with 2 superior devil spirits. As Kang Shinmu gave the order, he took the lead to attack. The void dragon sky-raising break combined with the great desolate devil sword swept towards the place where the two devil spirits were. 6 black and red dragon breath beams suddenly arrived, startling the two superior devil spirits. They were hidden devil patrollers. They formed teams of 2 and planned to come to this place to investigate the situation. However, they were unexpectedly discovered by Kang Shinmu. In fact, these 2 devil patrollers had just hidden themselves and wandered around a few small array eyes nearby. Unfortunately, the 4 teams of Donghuang Yangwu College students did not discover them. When they arrived in front of Kang Shinmu finally made his move. These were 2 lumps of meat in his hands. Of course, he could not give them to others. The next moment, Xiao Yuhua and the other 3 also attacked at the same time, all attacking one of the superior devil spirits. This superior devil spirit was at the 8th level of the reincarnation tribulation realm. It was equivalent to Dragon King's divine dragon blood essence. Its defense and attack ability could only be considered ordinary. As for the speed that he was most adept at, he was unable to display it at all. Kang Shinmu's attack came too suddenly. Before they could react, Xiao Yuhua and the others' attacks fell again. The 4 of them had recently made breakthroughs. There was no suspense in dealing with such a weak superior devil spirit. They killed the superior devil spirit in one blow. The terrifying power spread out, leaving the remaining superior devil spirit a little confused. It did not expect that its companion would be killed in one blow. Originally, it thought that there were 5 small array eyes and a total of 5 groups of dragon warrior students in this place. They were not too strong, especially the group in the middle, which seemed to be just a few miscellaneous troops. There was even Dragon King at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. This superior devil spirit looked down on Kang Shinmu, so it planned to come over to see if it could kill Kang Shinmu's group of 5. However, before they could prepare for a sneak attack, Kang Shinmu launched a surprise attack. This left the remaining superior devil spirit completely unable to react. It did not expect that Kang Shinmu and the others could directly erupt with power and kill its companion in one blow. When did dragon warriors' combat strength become so strong? Their cultivation realm and the grade of divine dragon blood essence were obviously not high, and could even be said to be very low. But now, it was too terrifying. The superior devil spirit trembled all over, turned around, and wanted to escape. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu directly used the wind shadow flowing cloud flash. In a flash, his 4,000 to 5,000 feet long black dragon body intercepted in front of the superior devil spirit. At the same time, his dragon claws fiercely clasped the superior devil spirit's body, grabbing both of its arms tightly. This was a hand-to-hand combat method. Kang Shinmu did not want to let this superior devil spirit escape, so he directly used his divine dragon body to get close and then grab the other party tightly. Obviously, the superior devil spirit had never seen such a method of fighting. It should be known that the divine dragon body of a dragon warrior was generally relatively weak. Who would directly rush up to fight hand-to-hand? Well, since you want to fight hand-to-hand, I'll satisfy you. The superior devil spirit's idea was simple. Since Kang Shinmu approached to stop it, it would first kill Kang Shinmu. Its demonic body was still very strong, and Kang Shinmu should be the weakest among this group of people. Anyway, among the attacks aimed at it just now, Kang Shinmu's attack was very weak. Even the Shadow Dragon Sky-raising break, which was integrated with the power of the Great Desolate Demon Sword, did not pose any threat to it. Therefore, it did not take Kang Shinmu seriously at all. The next moment, the superior devil spirit's whole body burst out with demonic aura, forming a wave of demonic aura lava, which exploded toward Kang Shinmu. Countless demonic aura suddenly arrived and landed on Kang Shinmu's divine dragon body. If it was an ordinary dragon king at the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, this move would definitely kill him. Unfortunately, this superior devil spirit was too unlucky to have encountered Kang Shinmu. When the demonic aura and smoke dissipated, this superior devil spirit was on the verge of collapse. It found that there was not a single scar on Kang Shinmu's black dragon body. What was going on? At this time, Xiao Yuhua and the other's second wave of attacks had arrived, not giving the superior devil spirit any chance. Even Kang Shinmu's black dragon body was enveloped in the attack range. Chapter 4483. Xiao Yuhua and the others directly attacked together with Kang Shinmu. The violent attacks came crashing down. The superior devil spirit did not even have time to put up a defense before it was drowned by everyone's powerful attacks. Unable to escape, its devil body was shattered in an instant. When Kang Shinmu came out of the violent attacks, he was already holding 2 superior devil spirit devil cores in his hand. Let's make it clear this time. No matter what the final harvest is, we will split it evenly, Kang Shinmu said while holding the 2 superior devil spirit devil cores. Now, Kang Shinmu clearly felt that it would not be easy to catch up with those powerhouses if he relied on himself. The key was that many aspects of strength improvement required time to settle, and not just cultivation resources. Therefore, Kang Shinmu did not intend to take the most cultivation resources. He had enough cultivation resources now. What he lacked was time. Therefore, instead of taking away most of the cultivation resources, it was better to evenly distribute the cultivation resources to the others so that they could all rise. For example, if each of them could exchange for the rising dragon marrow, the strength of their attacks could at least double, or even triple. Just like Xiao Yuhua's phoenix dance of the burning 9 heavens, once she broke through to the saint tier, her attack power would explode to an unimaginable level. It was even possible that after 3 to 5 consecutive attacks, the power would be comparable to Qin Xiaoya's Samsara incineration. This was a qualitative change. Hearing what Kang Shinmu said, everyone was a little surprised. They did not expect Kang Shinmu to share the demon hunting points equally with them. But the key was that they always felt that following Kang Shinmu was already making things difficult for Kang Shinmu. This was originally because of Kang Shinmu, which allowed them to obtain resources so quickly. Now, they wanted to take away Kang Shinmu's portion. They felt a little uneasy. For example, if they relied on themselves, the amount of cultivation resources they could obtain every month was 1. Now that they were following Jiang Shenwu, they could already obtain 2 portions of cultivation resources every month. And what Kang Shinmu said now was to let them get 3 cultivation resources every month, taking away the portion that originally belonged to Kang Shinmu. You don't have to say anything more. I've already decided. What I lack now is not cultivation resources, but time. Kang Shinmu said seriously, shutting everyone's mouth before they could speak. Xiao Yuhua and the others could not say anything more. However, Little White still said resolutely, we can split the harvest evenly. After all, the demon hunting points that we can exchange for are not too many. However, if it's a high-rank demon general like the last time and we can kill it, we definitely won't take more. She was very clear that if a high-rank demon general appeared, they would have to rely on Kang Shinmu to kill them, and most of them would have to be killed by Kang Shinmu's power. This level of reward was not fated with them. They were just helping out a little. How could they take away the majority? Kang Shinmu thought about it, then nodded and said, all right. Although he did not lack demon hunting points, if there were a lot of demon hunting points, he would still be willing to accept them. After all, he did not lack cultivation resources, but it did not mean that he did not need them. 2 high-rank demon spirits that came to investigate the situation were killed by their team. Then, they realized that there were no more demons around them. It was mainly because of Jiang Shenwu. He had walked around the vicinity but did not find any void monsters. Instead, there were waves of roars coming from the distance. It could be heard that in some directions, there were dragon martialists enduring the impact of the void monster legion. 2,000 miles away from Kang Shinmu and the others, Great Liang's Dragon Emperor and Dragon Emperor Yan were together, facing the attack of a demon army squad. This demon army squad was led by 3 demon generals, and there were dozens of demon spirits and hundreds of demon soldiers. A squad of demons rushed towards two Dragon Emperor powerhouses, especially the three demon generals, who were extremely strong. One of them was at the peak of the 9th level of the reincarnation rebirth realm, and it was fighting fiercely with Great Liang's Dragon Emperor. Dragon Emperor Yan, fortunately I brought you with me this time, or else this emperor would not be able to fight against three. Great Liang's Dragon Emperor was fighting against the strongest demon general alone, while Dragon Emperor Yan was fighting against the remaining two demon generals alone. The pressure was also not small. Me too. The Yan Dragon Emperor laughed heartily. I was the one who chose this small array core. If I hadn't chosen this place, I might not have met this demonic creature team. Speaking of which, I've implicated you. What do you mean by implicating me? Great Liang's Dragon Emperor laughed. It's all meat that comes to our door, let's eat together. As the sound of his voice faded, the high-ranked devil general who was fighting against him was continuously injured by his violent attacks, and his aura became weaker and weaker. Although the peak of the high-ranked demon general was very strong, Great Liang's Dragon Emperor, in the past 6 months, had cultivated the Holy Spirit Dragon Martial Technique, which was a powerful dragon martial technique that surpassed the high-level origin source dragon martial technique. The cultivation of the Holy Spirit Dragon Martial Technique had improved Great Liang's Dragon Emperor's combat power a lot. Although he had only cultivated it to the human level, once he used it, it was also a killer move. It was worth noting that the consumption of the Holy Spirit Dragon Martial Technique was very frightening. Therefore, generally, it could only be used once or twice in a battle, at most no more than 3 times before it would be exhausted. It was a bit similar to Qin Xiaoye's Reincarnation Ignition, but the consumption was slightly less than Reincarnation Ignition, and it did not forcibly consume all of its power. Great Liang's Dragon Emperor was about to kill his opponent, and Dragon Emperor Yan also quickly seriously injured one of the 7th-tier high-ranked demon generals. The other high-ranked demon general wanted to escape when he saw the situation, but he was surrounded by 6 flame dragon envoys, and had nowhere to escape. As for the other dozens of demon spirits and hundreds of demon soldiers, they were intercepted by Great Liang's Dragon Emperor subordinates. They were all at the peak of the reincarnation retribution realm, and it was not a problem to deal with these small fries. Kill. Great Liang's Dragon Emperor and Dragon Emperor Yan had a good time killing this time, and the harvest was also very big. After all, high-ranked demon generals were rarely seen on ordinary days. Even when the demonic creatures attacked, they either encountered a large legion and could not kill the enemy, and could only retreat, or only encountered a small group of scouts, and killing them did not gain much. But this time, their harvest was very big. For them, as long as they did not encounter powerful demonic creatures at the level of demon commander, or too many demon generals, there would not be too much problem to deal with. Awesome! This is what demon hunting is. Great Liang's Dragon Emperor's Holy Spirit Dragon Martial Technique burst out with a terrifying power, like a volcano shaking out from the void, killing the opponent in one fell swoop. Dragon Emperor Yan also just caught up and killed another demon general. But at this time, in the void not far from them, there was an incomparably rich devil chi. The appearance of this devil chi made all the dragon martial artists' faces change. This devil chi is too strong. Chapter 4484. Great Liang Dragon Emperor and Dragon Emperor Yan's expressions changed drastically. Let's go. They took away the demon cores of the high-ranked demon generals they had killed as fast as they could, then retreated with their men. They did not even bother to deal with the remaining demon spirits and demon soldiers. After obtaining the demon cores of high-ranked demon generals, the rest were just a small portion. It did not matter if they gave up. The key was that if they did not leave now, none of them would be able to escape once the demon commander made his move. The next moment, the dragon martial artists followed the 2 dragon emperors and retreated to the outside of the supreme barrier. They looked into the supreme barrier from thousands of feet away. What they saw almost scared them to death. What appeared with the demon commander's aura was indeed a demon commander-level void demonic creature. Behind the demon commander, there were 10 demon generals, hundreds of demon spirits, and tens of thousands of demon soldiers. This was a huge legion of void demonic creatures. They are going to attack the small array core. Inform the Deans. Great Liang Dragon Emperor saw through the other party's intention at first glance. He immediately led his men and flew toward the Deans not far away. The Deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies were all Super Shinran. They guarded one direction of the Supreme Barrier so that they could reinforce the nearby areas as soon as possible. Great Liang Dragon Emperor flew directly toward the direction of the Northern Desolate Dragon Martial Academy's Deans. Dragon Emperor Yen took a look, then turned around and flew toward Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. At the same time, there were at least 20 similar demonic creature legions around the Supreme Barrier. In an instant, the Deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies received news from all directions. Large-scale demonic creature legions appeared everywhere, wanting to attack the small array core. I'm afraid the demonic creature army has officially moved out. Informed the Supreme Shinran. The scale of the demonic creatures' attack this time was the largest in history. They had already received news that at least 200,000 void demonic creatures rushed out from the void chasm. There were also at least 20 demon commanders comparable to Super Shinran. The Deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies were unable to clear out all the demonic creatures this time. If the Supreme Shinran did not come to help, the Supreme Barrier might really be broken this time. After the news was spread, they waited anxiously. The Deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies worked together with the other Dragon Emperor powerhouses to come up with a plan. There were at least 20 demonic beast legions, and it was impossible for them to destroy all of them. Now, they could only focus on attacking 4 of them, and then send people to harass the other 16 demonic beast legions. To harass the Dragon Emperor of the Demonic Beast Legion was a very important task. Once the harassment failed, or they died, it was very likely that the enemy's legion would directly attack the small array eyes of the Supreme Barrier. Once the small formation core was broken, a gap would appear in the Supreme Barrier, and the void demons would be able to rush out of the Supreme Barrier and into the surrounding void, threatening the Martial Dragon continent. Unfortunately, given the current situation, this was all the Deans of the 4 Dragon Martial Academies could do. It was basically impossible for them to achieve more results. They could only restrain the demon commander level powerhouses, and it was difficult to completely kill them. It was not easy to destroy a demonic creature legion, let alone 20 demonic creatures legions. There was no demonic creature army where Kang Shinmu was. However, he felt that the overall situation was not good. The aura of countless demonic beasts came from all directions. Although he could not see them, Kang Shinmu could already feel that the number of demonic beasts rushing out of the void cracks this time seemed to be much more than usual. After all, the aura of the demonic beasts in the entire Supreme Barrier suddenly became more than 10 times stronger. There was nothing happening where they were. About 2 hours passed, and they did not move around carelessly. Then, they felt as if the void in the distance was torn apart, and then many extremely powerful dragon martial artists appeared from the void and rushed over. From afar, Kang Shinmu could feel the aura of these dragon martial artists, and it was not inferior to Yu Yaji and the other super divine dragon deans. Are the other subordinates of the Supreme Divine Dragon here to support us? But why didn't the Supreme Divine Dragon himself come? Kang Shinmu guessed the current situation, and he was somewhat puzzled. However, he did not know that there was really a Supreme Divine Dragon descending now. However, only such a Supreme Divine Dragon came to the Dragon Martial Continent to guard the Supreme Barrier. Even this Supreme Divine Dragon powerhouse had come to provide support in an extremely urgent situation. At the same time that the Supreme Barrier of the Dragon Martial Continent was attacked by the demonic army, the Supreme Divine Dragon side was also attacked by powerful demonic beasts. In other words, this was a premeditated attack. The Supreme Divine Dragon was held up and had no time to care about this side. In the end, he could only reluctantly send a Supreme Divine Dragon and 12 Super Divine Dragons to the space where the Dragon Martial Continent was located. The Supreme Divine Dragon was a level higher than the Demon Commander level. When he first arrived, he joined forces with two super divine dragon subordinates and completely destroyed one of the demonic creature's legions. However, that was because the demonic creatures were not prepared. When the first demonic creature legion was destroyed, the other demonic creatures also prepared and formed a battle formation. Even if it was a supreme divine dragon, it would be impossible to instantly destroy a demonic creature legion. The opponent's demon commander level was the main formation eye, and the other demonic creatures were the small formation eyes. Unexpectedly, they also formed a defensive barrier. Even if the supreme divine dragon attacked, it would be able to withstand for a period of time. At this time, almost all the major demonic creature legions launched an attack on the small formation eyes of the supreme barrier. With the overall strength of a demonic creature legion, it would not take too long to break a small formation eye of the supreme barrier. In the previous hour, it could be said that many Dragon Emperor experts were desperately trying to delay, and even Dragon Emperor experts had paid with their lives. But now, they could not delay any longer. When the Supreme Divine Dragon arrived, the demonic creatures launched the most violent attack. The entire Supreme Spirit formation began to tremble and sway. It was the same where Kang Shinmu was. He saw that the Supreme Barrier behind him seemed to be attacked by some kind of power. The intensity of the dim flickering was not quite the same as before, and it looked like it was about to be extinguished. "I'm afraid it's in trouble," Kang Shinmu thought to himself. Unfortunately, with his strength, he really could not help much in this kind of situation. He could only stick to his post and guard the small formation eye that he was at. If the demonic creatures that came could be dealt with, then he would kill them. If not, then he would retreat outside the Supreme Barrier. At this time, the four groups of dragon martial artists from Donghuang Yangwu College finally began to move. They had waited for 2 hours, but nothing happened. Chapter 4485. What they did not know was that the two superior demon spirits had passed right in front of them. Unfortunately, they had not discovered the two hidden superior demon spirits, so it was equivalent to giving the two superior demon spirits to Kang Shinmu. Kang Shinmu accepted it without hesitation. Demon hunting points were delivered to his doorstep anyway. Over the past 2 hours, the 4 teams of Donghuang students had nothing to do. Although there seemed to be a problem with the ultimate barrier, they felt that it was not their concern. They might as well join forces and attack Kang Shinmu's team. 4 teams against 1 team, how could they possibly lose? Therefore, they communicated with each other and decided to take advantage of this opportunity to get rid of Kang Shinmu. Even if they could not kill him, they would humiliate him. It was not uncommon for the dragon martialists to kill each other on the Void Rift battlefield, and it had happened many times before. Where there were people, there would naturally be enmity and resentment between the dragon martialist students. In an unguarded environment, it was not a big deal for them to kill each other. The 4 teams of Donghuang students surrounded the place where Kang Shinmu's team was. The short distance of 10 miles was covered in a blink of an eye. Each team had about 4 dragon martialists, and there were a total of 15 students, of which 5 were from the Dubhe district and 10 from the Tianxian district. Their combined strength was almost unimaginable. Of course, this was only what they thought. Kang Shinmu's team of 5 saw this group of people approaching and were already prepared. Ran even wanted to sneak attack in one direction, but Kang Shinmu stopped her. "I keep having this feeling that something in the void is staring at us." Kang Shinmu narrowed his eyes, not even looking at the approaching Donghuang students, but looking at the surrounding void. His senses were very sharp, but even he could not see through the opponent's concealment ability. It was obvious that the opponent was very strong and could very well be hiding in the void, trying to give him a fatal blow. Fortunately, his resistance to the demonic chi of void demons had reached an extremely high level. Even a high-ranked demon general might not be able to kill him with a sneak attack. As the 15 Donghuang students approached, Kang Shinmu merely glanced at them. Kang Shinmu knew a few of them from the Dragon Martial Academy, and he even knew a few of their fighting styles. After all, he had observed their fights when he was in Donghuang Yangwu College. Of course, all of the Dragon Martial Academy's students had improved by quite a bit. The dragon martial skills they used might not be the same as the ones Kang Shinmu had seen before. Kang Shinmu, hand over the 2 superior devil cores. That's right. Also, hand over all your dragon weapons and cultivation resources. Otherwise, you know the consequences. The 5 powerful dragon warriors from the Heavenly Center District took the lead and arrived in front of Jiang Shenwu. They surrounded the 5 of them and said with indifferent expressions. To the students of Donghuang Yangwu College, Kang Shinmu was a disgrace. He was a disgrace that they would never be able to raise their heads again in Donghuang Yangwu College. Therefore, they could not wait to kill Kang Shinmu. However, if Kang Shinmu was willing to hand over everything on him, they could still accept it. After all, they did not gain anything from the attack of the demons. If they could gain something from Kang Shinmu without any effort, it would be very good. Of course, they did not think that Kang Shinmu would hand over his things willingly. Therefore, they were already prepared to kill Kang Shinmu. I advise you not to make a move. Otherwise, the void monsters hiding in the vicinity will wipe us all out. Kang Shinmu looked around and gave a faint warning. Hee, a void monster hiding nearby? Where? Why don't I see them? The students of Donghuang Yangwu College laughed. Even if there are void demons hiding, they won't dare to attack us. There are so many of us. Why should we be afraid of a small demon hiding in the dark? The leader of the group was a student from the Dubhe district. Kang Shinmu could not remember his name. However, he was definitely not weak. After all, even now, there were only 9 students in the Dubhe district. 5 of the 9 students from the Dubhe district of Donghuang Yangwu College were here. Although there was still a huge gap between them and Yutayangshan, the fact that they were able to become students of the Dubhe district meant that they were among the top 10 in Donghuang Yangwu College. 5 of the top 10 dragon martial artists had come to surround Kang Shinmu. They really thought too highly of Kang Shinmu. However, Kang Shinmu was not afraid. He had many tricks up his sleeves. As long as he could withstand the first round of attacks, he would be able to resist their power. Cut the crap. If you want to attack, just do it. Kang Shinmu winked at Xiao Yuhua and the other 3. Then, before Kang Shinmu could finish his words, Xiao Yuhua and the other 3 launched a fierce and terrifying attack almost at the same time toward the place where Kang Shinmu was observing. Damn it, they actually attacked first. Kill them. No, they didn't attack us, but, instead, they attacked in the void. The students of Donghuang Yangwu College were stunned. They had thought that Jiang Shenwu was planning to make the first move and attack them, but they did not expect that the place where Xiao Yuhua and the others attacked was actually the empty void. The ferocious attacks arrived, but nothing was revealed in the void. No, it was clearly there just now. They're too fast. Kang Shinmu's face darkened. He had wanted to force the hidden void monster out, but it had actually sensed their attacks and left the place first. It could be said that this void monster had extremely sharp senses. In fact, under the current circumstances, if it was an ordinary hidden void monster, it would definitely think that Kang Shinmu was trying to attack first and deal with the students of Donghuang Yangwu College. In that case, the void monster would not be able to dodge because it was unprepared. Unfortunately, the void monster was very agile and dodged directly, causing Xiao Yuhua and the others' attacks to miss. Aha, Kang Shinmu, is this the void monster you said was hiding nearby? Looks like your senses aren't that great after all. How disappointing. You're still playing tricks even when you're about to die. The students of Donghuang Yangwu College laughed out loud. They were disdainful of Kang Shinmu's actions, but they also found it hilarious. This group of people was really annoying. Xiao Yuhua and the others trusted Kang Shinmu very much. Since Kang Shinmu had said so, there must be void monsters observing them in the surroundings. Chapter 4486. Kang Shinmu looked around. 15 powerful students from Donghuang Yangwu College had surrounded them. There were also unknown void monsters hiding in the surroundings. To Kang Shinmu, the situation was not too good. If it wasn't for Ling Yun's protection ring and the protection crystal given by the Supreme Divine Dragon, Jiang Shenwu really didn't know how to get out of this situation. No matter what, he was now in an invincible position. However, he did not really want to fight with these students from Donghuang Yangwu College. If the void monsters secretly attacked them, the situation would not be too good. Kang Shinmu himself would not be in trouble. However, if these students died, it would be a great loss to Donghuang Yangwu College. Although Kang Shinmu could not be bothered with the situation of Donghuang Yangwu College, if these people died here, the overall strength of the Dragon Martial Continent would be greatly reduced. At that time, it would be very difficult to fight against the void monsters. However, Kang Shinmu's words might not be enough to convince these guys in front of him. Then there was no other way. Don't you want to kill me? In that case, let's go to the Supreme Barrier and duel. Kang Shinmu said. Fighting outside the Supreme Boundary, there was no need to worry about being attacked by the hidden void monsters. After all, void monsters could not leave the Supreme Boundary's protection. However, hearing Kang Shinmu's words, the leader of the Heaven Core District students snorted coldly. What other tricks are you playing? Scram. I'll count to 3. If you don't hand over the things, we will attack. 1, 2, 3. As he said this, Kang Shinmu looked at him as if he was looking at an idiot. Was this guy really afraid that Kang Shinmu would play tricks, or was it something else? Kang Shinmu naturally wouldn't hand over everything. Since that was the case, they could only fight. If the void monsters in the dark attacked, then Kang Shinmu wouldn't be able to help them. Do it. That Dubhe district student was in the form of a divine dragon. At this moment, a terrifying samsara blizzard erupted from his body. He was at the 5th level of the rebirth tribulation realm, and the 4th level of the Dragon Emperor's inheritance blood essence. This level was much higher than Qin Xiaoye's. Unfortunately, in Kang Shinmu's eyes, no matter how strong the other party was, they couldn't deal with him. Around him, the 15 students of Donghuang Yangwu College all burst out with violent attacks, directly blasting at Kang Shinmu. At this moment, Protective Crystal. Xiao Bai decisively activated the power of the Protective Crystal, and then a crystal boundary defense barrier condensed within a 5,000 feet radius around her, forming a powerful defense barrier. She activated the Protective Crystal and directly protected all 5 of them. At the same time, the attacks of the surrounding students of Donghuang Yangwu College all landed on the crystal boundary defense barrier. They could even kill an upper-level devil general if they joined forces, but when these attacks landed on the crystal boundary defense barrier, they didn't even cause the slightest ripple. What? The 15 students of Donghuang Yangwu College all turned pale when they saw this. They didn't expect Kang Shinmu to have such a defensive technique. He could actually block all of their attacks. Moreover, at this moment, Kang Shinmu's blood-red devouring power arrived, swallowing all the samsara powers of the 15 students into his body, turning them into his own, and increasing his resistance against the 15 students' powers. In just a short while, Kang Shinmu was almost invincible. This crystal boundary defense barrier could last for the time it took for a joss stick to burn out. Within this time, no matter what the other party did, they would not be able to threaten Kang Shinmu and the others. Just as the students from the Donghuang Dragon Martial Academy were in shock, a scream came from the crowd all of a sudden. Then, they saw a student from the Dragon Martial Academy whose divine dragon body seemed to have been slashed by sword chi, turning into countless pieces on the spot. The scream stopped abruptly. One of the 15 students died on the spot. Most importantly, no one here had seen how he'd died, and it was even to the extent that they hadn't sensed any devil energy. What's going on? Who is it? Kang Shinmu, how dare you play tricks? The students were instantly enraged. I already told you, there's a hidden void demon nearby, you don't believe me? Kang Shinmu said calmly inside the crystal boundary defense barrier. He was now in an invincible position, but the students of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial Academy had no protection. The void demon had just launched a sneak attack, and it happened to be the moment when the other party was the least vigilant. It killed a student of the Heavenly Jade District in one fell swoop. Moreover, even Kang Shinmu didn't know how the other party did it. The hidden void demon had yet to show up, and Kang Shinmu didn't know what level of existence it was, but to be able to kill a Heavenly Jade student in one fell swoop, its strength was at least at the level of a mid-level demon general. Level 5? Level 6. It might even be a level 7 high-level demon general. The other party's concealment method was too strong, even Kang Shinmu couldn't sense its exact location, and its speed was so fast that it didn't reveal any demonic chi when it attacked. Kang Shinmu, get out here. Give us an explanation. The students of Donghuang Yangwu College panicked and they saw someone die. The dragon god's body was sliced into pieces in the void. They didn't know what happened at all. They didn't even know who attacked just now. There's no demonic chi, it's definitely not a void demon. Kang Shinmu, how dare you kill your own people, you're cruel. Someone gritted his teeth and shouted. Kang Shinmu couldn't be bothered to explain, he just snorted coldly and said, aren't you the cruel ones? Who's causing trouble at this time? If you didn't surround me, why would you let your own people be killed? So, Gang Zi was really killed by you? Damn it, get out here. Someone roared angrily. 14 Dragon Emperor level students surrounded Kang Shinmu's protective crystal barrier, shouting madly, at the same time alert for possible sneak attacks in the surrounding void. However, under such circumstances, another Heavenly Jade student let out a scream, but it stopped abruptly. His wind attribute dragon god's body was also sliced into pieces in the void, and he died on the spot. Go, we can't stay here anymore, there's something wrong with this Kang Shinmu. The remaining 13 people panicked when they saw this situation. People are most afraid of the unknown, and now they don't even know what is hunting them, how can they not be afraid? And under the eyes of so many people, the other party's attack was not discovered, it's terrifying. Chapter 4487. The 13 of them quickly flew out of the barrier. The distance of about 10 miles was like the end of the world to them. While they were escaping, another student from Tianxian District, and even another student from Tianshu District, were chopped into pieces by that strange attack. Such a situation was truly terrifying. Leaving behind the skeletons of 4 students that had been chopped into pieces, the remaining 11 students from Donghuang Yangwu College finally escaped from the boundary. After they got out of the boundary, they looked back and saw the skeletons of their 4 companions that had been chopped into pieces. They instantly felt a chill run down their spines. This Kang Shinmu is too strange. Until now, they still thought that it was Kang Shinmu who had secretly killed their people. But soon, their expressions changed drastically. They discovered that outside the protective crystal barrier that Kang Shinmu and the other 4 were in, the void was faintly flickering. Then, 2 small monsters appeared from the void. Those 2 monsters did not emit demonic energy, and they actually looked like humans. They were dressed in black, a man and a woman. The woman was in front, her long black hair that reached her hips made her look enchanting and charming. Her facial features were exquisite and perfect, no different from a human's. Her black clothes were tight, outlining her graceful curves from top to bottom. As for the man, he held a black dagger in his hand that seemed to be stained with dragon blood. Although these 2 silhouettes looked like humans and did not emit demonic chi, it was obvious that they belonged to a tribe of void beasts at a glance. Because, behind them, a few more gigantic figures gradually appeared. It was the void aberrations. She's from the demon tribe. The remaining 11 students from Donghuang Yangwu College suddenly turned pale. They did not expect to encounter the demon tribe. To put it simply, the Demonkin race was the ruler of the void monsters. To the Demonkin race, the void monsters were like livestock that they reared, just tools that they sent out to fight. Even the demon commander-level void monsters had to submit to any of the demon tribe. Behind the man and woman, 4 huge figures appeared. Each of them was a high-rank devil general and emitted an incomparably terrifying aura. They weren't originally here, but after the male and female devil cultivator appeared, they used some sort of method to teleport the 4 superior demon generals over. It's actually the demonic humans. When Kang Shinmu saw a man and a woman appear outside the protective crystal barrier, his expression turned ugly. Now, he was basically trapped here. The man from the Devil Cultivator clan clearly had an extremely terrifying strength. The reason why he was able to kill them without leaving a trace was because the man did not transform into his devil body. He was only in his human form and had killed the 4 of them with less than 30% of his strength. The black dagger in his hand was an extremely high-level MO weapon. A man and a woman who could command 4 superior devil generals. With such power appearing around Kang Shinmu had no intention of escaping at all. There was no way he could escape. The 5 of them were all trapped here. On the other hand, the 11 students from Donghuang Yangwu College had already escaped from the boundary and should be fine. I didn't expect it to be the demon tribe. The faces of the 11 students outside were all pale. Looking at the devil race and the 4 superior devil generals who were separated by a supreme spirit formation, their hearts were already trembling. They didn't expect that what Kang Shinmu said was actually true. There really were void monsters hiding around them. They didn't listen to his advice, and as a result, 4 of them died. If they hadn't attacked Kang Shinmu and instead focused on guarding their surroundings, the other party might not have been able to succeed in their encirclement. Unfortunately, their thoughts were all on Kang Shinmu and they didn't listen to Kang Shinmu's words at all, which led to such a terrible outcome. The death of 4 students was an unacceptable loss for them. It should be known that the 4 students had fought alongside them for too long. It was extremely difficult to find such a strong person to join their team. The 4 teams were in low spirits with 1 dead each. Look, the demon tribe doesn't seem to have any intention of attacking Kang Shinmu's team. At this moment, someone among them suddenly said. That's really the case. Many people's faces changed drastically. These 2 demon tribe members are extremely powerful, and there are 4 superior devil generals. If they attack, they can definitely break the defense of Kang Shinmu's team. They didn't know that Kang Shinmu's defense was the protective crystal of the Supreme Divine Dragon, which possessed supreme power. Not to mention the 4 superior devil generals, even the 2 demon tribe members who were stronger than the superior devil generals couldn't break the protective crystal's defensive barrier. Because they knew that they couldn't break it, these void demons couldn't be bothered to attack Kang Shinmu. They directly looked at the Supreme Boundary's small formation core, and the students of Donghuang Yangwu College who were watching from outside the small formation core. They really aren't attacking Kang Shinmu. How can this be? Could it be Kang Shinmu is their accomplice? It's very likely. In the past, we only heard of the existence of the demon tribe, but never heard of them appearing in the void crack. This is the first time the demon tribe has appeared in the sky of our dragon martial continent. Could it be that Kang Shinmu colluded with them to come here? The students of Donghuang Yangwu College were all bewildered. We'll keep watch here. Third brother, you go back to the void disk first and report the situation here. Just say that Kang Shinmu colluded with the void demons and is about to attack our small formation core. Soon, the leader of the Heavenly Center District students said solemnly. Immediately, a dragon martial artist turned around and flew toward the distant starry sky, planning to go back and report the situation here. The void demons are the rulers of the void demons. They govern all the void demons and are also our real enemy. Inside the Supreme Boundary, Kang Shinmu was protected by the protective crystal, and his face was extremely ugly. They said that we colluded with the void demons. If this gets out, I'm afraid we Xiao Yuhua heard the words of the people outside the supreme boundary and was a little worried. Don't be afraid. Kang Xinmu shook his head. We got the supreme protective crystal, the dean and the others must know about it. It's too presumptuous to conclude that we colluded with the void demons just because they didn't attack the protective crystal. After hearing Kang Xinmu's words, everyone was relieved. Kang Xinmu was right, it was too presumptuous to conclude that they colluded with the void demons just because of this. There was no other evidence to prove it. Chapter 4488. I wonder what these little fellows have to do with the dragon god? Right at this moment, the two void devils suddenly spoke in the human language of the martial dragon continent. The man and woman observed Kang Xinmu's group of 5 curiously. Princess. The void devil faced the young girl with a respectful expression. His tone was filled with incomparable reverence. With the protection of the peerless divine dragon, they will definitely be seen as geniuses among the dragon warriors. Since we've encountered them, we can't let them go. But we can't break the dragon god's protection. The young female void demon being addressed as princess seemed to be a little conflicted. There should be a time limit to this protection, the void demon said respectfully. The void fiend man respectfully guessed, let us first follow the plan and break through the formation core of the supreme barrier. It won't be too late to deal with them later. The void demon girl nodded. From her demeanor and expression, she was no different from the humans of the Longwu continent. If it weren't for the 4 high-ranked demon generals following behind them, listening to her orders respectfully, no one would have thought she was a void demon. Let's begin. Immediately after, the void devil cultivator girl raised her hand, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Then, she ordered the 4 high-ranked devil generals to start attacking the small formation cores on the supreme barrier. It was almost impossible for a mere high-ranked demon general to break the formation core. Even if they worked hard for a few years, they wouldn't make any progress. However, at this time, the 4 high-ranked devil general level monsters did not directly attack the small formation core of the supreme barrier. Instead, they assisted in their attacks. They released all the demonic energy in their bodies. The demonic energy was so dense that it almost drowned the space where Kang Xinmu and the others were. The devil chi gathered around the small formation eye of the supreme sword incantation. The students of the Eastern Imperial Dragon Martial Academy, who were outside the supreme sword art, felt uneasy when they saw this scene. If the other party could really break through the small formation core of the supreme barrier, they would probably all be killed. There were originally 11 of them left, and they sent one of them back to the void disk to report the news. They also sent 3 people to fly in different directions of the supreme barrier, intending to inform the dean of the Super Dragon School. Unfortunately, the Super Shinran powerhouses were now being held back by more than 20 void beasts, and they were located very far away from each other. It would probably take a long time for them to get the news from their side. Come, let's retreat first. The students of Donghuang Yangwu College all had ugly expressions. They all planned to retreat. I didn't think that Kang Xinmu would collude with the void demons. He's too despicable. Chu Qingyun was right. This Kang Xinmu can use the void demons' demonic techniques. How is that a counterattack talent? He's clearly a lackey of the void demons. They said hatefully. Now, they could no longer see the protective crystal barrier that was submerged by the demonic aura, but they did not feel any energy erupt where Jiang Shenwu was, which meant that the group of demonic creatures had not attacked Jiang Shenwu yet. If Jiang Shenwu wasn't colluding with the void devil, how could the void devil appear in this direction so coincidentally? Why would they not attack Kang Xinmu when they were so close? In their hearts, Kang Xinmu was already recognized as a traitor. The remaining 8 of them left one after another. They didn't go to other places to guard the boundary. Instead, they planned to return to the void disk. Outside the void disk, there was also a layer of the boundary. Because the area of protection was small, its defensive strength was far stronger than the boundary around the void chasm. Therefore, the void disk was definitely safe. Unfortunately, these people were a little slow in escaping. Before they could get far, the void demon male took out a round ball from his bosom. This round ball was the size of a human fist. Starlight shone within it, as if the ball was filled with a universe. This was the void demon race's ultimate treasure. If it were other void demons, they naturally wouldn't be able to obtain such an ultimate treasure. However, this time, the void demon princess had personally made a move and could use this ultimate treasure. Moreover, this ultimate treasure could only be activated by the royal blood of the void demon race. When the ultimate treasure appeared, the void demon girl, who was also the demon princess, bit her finger and dripped her blood onto the round ball. Immediately after, the round ball immediately devoured all the surrounding demonic chi. Void Saint Magic Ball. The void devil race girl let out a soft cry, and all the demonic aura in the surroundings was absorbed into the void devil race's treasure. Even the 4 high-rank devil generals were sacrificed. The bodies of the 4 high-rank demon generals were all sucked into the void Saint Magic Ball. Then, it completely devoured them. Not even a bit of their demon cores was left. Outside the protective crystal barrier that Kang Shinmu was in, clarity was finally restored. Only 2 void demons and a void Saint Magic Ball that was full of demonic chi were left. The void Saint Magic Ball immediately attacked the small formation core on the supreme barrier. With a loud bang, it shattered the formation core with boundless demonic chi. The small formation core is broken. Kang Shinmu's expression changed drastically. Logically speaking, if void demons wanted to break the small formation core, they would need at least a powerful existence at the level of a demon commander. Otherwise, it would be impossible to break the small formation core. Moreover, a demon commander would need at least 1 to 4 hours to do so. After all, the surrounding supreme barrier was the supreme power of the supreme divine dragons. How could it be broken so easily? Even if the small formation core was the entire supreme barrier's weak point, it couldn't be broken in an instant. But now, the appearance of the void Saint Magic Ball had broken this rule. The 2 void demons had actually used the void Saint Magic Ball to shatter the small formation core in an instant. Although the void Saint Magic Ball had devoured all the cultivation and demonic bodies of the 4 high-rank demon generals as a sacrifice, the current situation was very bad for the Martial Dragon continent. The void demons had personally made a move and used the void demon army as a cover. What they really wanted to break was actually the small formation core on Kang Shinmu's side. How could Kang Shinmu have expected such a situation? Even now, he couldn't even protect himself. The protective crystal could only last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. After that, the supreme power of the protective crystal would dissipate. At that time, Kang Shinmu and the others would be in trouble. Although they still had 3 more protective crystals, they couldn't possibly use all of them at once, right? Seeing that the 2 void demons had actually opened the small formation core, cracks immediately appeared on the supreme boundary nearby. Like the surface of ice, cracks started to spread from the place where the small formation core had been shattered to the surroundings. A gap had appeared in the supreme barrier. Let's go. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.